ಹಾಯ್ ಎವ್ರಿವನ್, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಸೊ ಇದೊಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಎಪಿಸೋಡ್ ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಇವತ್ತು. ರಿಯಲ್ ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರಿಟಿ ಪಾಡ್ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ನ ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಅಂದರೆ ಐ ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಇನ್ವೈಟ್ anybody and everybody I want to invite on my show and have a very candid conversation. ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಶೋ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಇತ್ತು ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೈ ದಿಸ್ ಶೋ. ಹಾನೆಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಇದಕ್ಕಿನ್ನೂ ಹೆಸರಿಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ನಾವು, ಬಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ನೌ ಐ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ್ ಶೋ. ಸೊ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟುಡೇಸ್ ಎಪಿಸೋಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋನ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಸೂಪರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ವೆರಿ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟೆಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್.
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಹಾಕೋಬೇಕಂತನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ.
I want something, I have to be very diplomatic. Okay, I cannot do like, hey, ಇದು ಮಾಡು ಅದು ಮಾಡು ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ನಡೆಯೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟಲ್ಲಿ.
Please read your job description very carefully. The moment you get into corporate world ಅಲ್ಲ, it makes you independent.
ನಮ್ಮ ಇಡೀ ಕಾಂದಲ್ಲೇ ಐ ಆಮ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಟು ಗೋ US.
I have to say people don't leave companies, but people leave their bosses, managers and the people around them.
ಇಮೇಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ, ನಾನು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಖರ್ಚು ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಹೇಳಿ, ನಾನು ವಾಪಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ.
I don't mind telling it in front of cameras. At 18, ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಈ ಎಪಿಸೋಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೈ 3 ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೋ ಐ ರಿಪೀಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ 2 ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ 1 ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈನ್. I know she's going to get superly offended, but that's what it is. So ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಈ ಎಪಿಸೋಡಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಎಪಿಸೋಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋನ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಫಾರ್ 2 reasons. ಒಂದು, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ನಾನೊಂದು ಈ ಥರದೊಂದು ಎಪಿಸೋಡ್ನ ಶೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದ ರಿಯಲ್ ಮೀ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋನ್ ಕೀಪ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಂಡಿಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. Second thing, what's really special and common about all 3 of them is that they have started their journey in the corporate and still being there. And what's really inspiring for me is all of them have started from scratch and scaled up really well. So even the episode can be very inspiring for all of them who's aspiring to get into the corporate space. And also we can speak something very interesting. Yakantandre I am someone who has no idea what corporate world is all about. Nanage eno idea illa because I have not even worked a single day there. So I'm very curious. I'm going to roast them. I'm going to ask them some controversial questions also, because you know what's happening right now. And I'm going to put them into the spot and put them into trouble also. So I'm preparing them. So let me welcome them. Hi Lakshmi, hi Monica, hi Megha. How are you?
Hi.
Good.
ತುಂಬಾ ಸೊಫಿಸ್ಟಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಸಮನ್ ಹೂಮ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂತ, ಬಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋನಾ ಮೇಕ್ ದೆಮ್ ಫೀಲ್ ವೆರಿ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ನೋ ದೆಮ್, ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಡೂ ಅಂಡ್ ವೇರ್ ದೇ ಆರ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋನ್ ರಿವೀಲ್ ದೇರ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ನೇಮ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಶಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ, but they're going to tell their journey and things like that. So let's begin. Hi Lakshmi.
Hi.
Lakshmi ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳೋದು ಮುಂಚೆ I will tell about her a little bit. We both know each other from 4th standard. ನಾವಿಬ್ರು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಓದಿದ್ದು ಒಂದೇ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ 10th standard ತನಕ, and we have had amazing time together. And she's one person who's helped me a lot in the beginning of Karnataka Women Achievers Awards. In fact, she's a co-founder of Karnataka Women Achievers Awards. We both started it together antane helbodu, along with our 2 other friends who are not here today. But yes, she's one of the biggest pillar of strength nange, and today we have her with her. So yes Lakshmi, tell me.
ಹಾಯ್, ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ವರಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ರಾಜೇಂದ್ರನ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ ಮೂಲಕ, ಬಟ್ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, ಕೆರಿಯರ್ ವೈಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಲೈಕ್ 10 long years in corporate. Wow. The first interview I went was of course with the Spoorthi's bike. Nan full interviews ಅವಳ ಬೈಕಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೆ until I got a job. So ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಅಪ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಜರ್ನಿ ಫಾರ್ ಶ್ಯೂರ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಂಗೆ ಏನು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ನಾನು 10 years ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಏನಿದ್ದೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನೌ, ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಡ್ರಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಮೈ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್, ಮೈ ಆ್ಯಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೌ ಐ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಒಂದು 10 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ತುಂಬ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಈಗೇನು ಅನಿಸಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ತಲೆನೂ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚುರಿಟಿ ಅಪ್ವರ್ಡ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಥರನೂ ವರ್ಕೌಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ I've been like very happy and all. It's like a mixed emotion journey.
Fantastic. That's amazing. I mean, very well put, Lakshmi. So just tell me about your role in your company. Of course, we are not revealing the company's name. So what exactly you do?
So designation wise, I'm a manager now, and I work for a very big tax firm. So ರೋಲ್ ವೈಸ್ ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಐ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಡೆರೈವಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮೈ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್. ಇಟ್ ಗೋಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಡೀಪ್. ಸೊ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂಚೂರು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಆದರೆ ಡಾಲರ್ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್, ವೆರಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಒಂದೇ ಕೆಲಸನ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಟೀಮ್ 3 years ಇರಬೇಕು, ಬಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಅ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಜರ್ನಿ ಫಾರ್ ಮೀ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಅ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ವೇರ್ ಡೆಸ್ಟಿನೇಷನ್ ಇದು, ಬಟ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಗೋ ದೇರ್, ಅದೊಂಥರ ಮುಗಿಸಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಖುಷಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
Fantastic. Lakshmi, to begin with, I just want to ask you, like, what was your first salary and what is your current salary?
So I started with 13,000.
13,000. This was 2014.
12, yeah.
ನನ್ನ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೀ ಕೆಲ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ.
Okay, fine.
So 2012
13,000 first salary. Oh wow. Okay.
And ಈಗ it's more.
It's 10x.
It's about for sure 1 lakh.
Okay, 1 lakh and above ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಇವಾಗ? Okay, fantastic. And that has taken 10 years. Okay, I'm going to talk more about it to you. Thank you so much. So let me go to the delicate doll in our gang. ಅವ್ಳು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡೆಲಿಕೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವಳ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವಾಗ 1,000 ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಏನು ಹೇಳಲಿ, ಏನು ಹೇಳಬಾರ್ದು, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಲಿ, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇವಳು ನಾನು ಏನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾಳೆ, ಹೆಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಓಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮೋನಿಕಾ. Monica, in fact, is my friend before even I met Lakshmi. So we both are childhood friends. ನಾವಿಬ್ರು ನೇಬರ್ಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ನಾನು ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ 3rd standard ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೆ. ಸೊ 3rd standard ಇಂದ ನೇಬರ್ ಮೋನಿಕಾಗೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೋನಿಕಾಸ್ ಮಾಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡ್ಯಾಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಕೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀ ಲೈಕ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್, ಐ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಸೇ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆಯಿಂದ ಸಂಜೆ ತನಕ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು. ಐ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಲಿವ್ ವಿತ್ ಹರ್. And she was like my big sister ಅವಾಗ.
Even now.
No, I am her big sister.
Now it is the other way. It's the other way around.
So we've been childhood friends and it's been an amazing journey. I mean, ಇಬ್ರು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಗಣೇಶ ಕೂರಿಸ್ತಿದ್ವಿ, ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಕಿರ್ಚಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಬೈಸ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ
ಅಡುಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಚೆಲ್ಲ ಸುರಿತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಯಾರು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗದೆ ಇರಂಗೆ.
So all that days we have seen together. So Monica, please introduce yourself to my audience.
Initial introduction, Spoorthi ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ, yeah, we've been like childhood friends. It's been, I think, more than 25 plus years. ಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಶೋರ್ 25 years plus ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ.
ನನ್ನ ಏಜ್ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಡ ನೀನು, ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ, ಗೋ ಅಹೆಡ್.
Anyway, so when I have to talk about my corporate journey or the career journey, ನಂಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಮನೇಲೇ ಇದ್ದು ಬೆಳೆದಿರೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರ ಕೈ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಂಥರ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಆಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ I wanted to see how the outside world is, and of course when I started my journey I really didn't have even like 1 rupee in my pocket. And the first job also when I went, ನಂಗೆ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಕೂಡ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, which is probably like 10 years ago. ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಡಿಗ್ರಿನೂ ಇಲ್ದಿರ ಹೇಗೆ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಬ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಸೊ ಥ್ರೂ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಐ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ದಟ್ ಓಕೆ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಕಂಪನಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಂತಲೂ ಆವಾಗಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದ್ದು ನನಗೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಹಾಕೋಬೇಕಂತನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಲೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಐ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಹತ್ರ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂನಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಟಾಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅಂತ ಈಗ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ ಕೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಲೈಕ್, ನನ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನೇನು ಹೇಳಿ, ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಮೋನಿಕಾ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೇಲೇನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಯಾ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಎನ್ ಅಮೇಝಿಂಗ್ ಜರ್ನಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಐ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ವೇ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಇನ್ 2013. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ನಿ GM ಜೊತೆ ದ ಫೈನಲ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಆಯಿತು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ I just came out and sat. I just told my friend, hey, mostly ನಂಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿರಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಐ ಫೀಲ್ ಸೋ ಡಮ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಮೈ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಈವನ್ ನೋ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದುಬಿಟ್ಟು ದೇ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಮೀ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೆಡ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಯೋರ್ ಆಫರ್ ಲೆಟರ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಲೈಕ್, ಓ ಹೀಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತಾ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಎನಿವೇ, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ one of the, I just felt it's a big miracle that happened to me, getting a job even without a degree. In fact, I had just finished my 12th.
And I think it was supposed to happen like that for you.
Yeah,
you needed that.
I needed
transition.
that because I never believed in myself, and I never thought that I could actually be there like in the corporate and make a mark what I am right now, like 10 years later. And
Fantastic.
ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಶುರುವಾಗಿದ್ದ ಜರ್ನಿ. Of
So
course.
what was your first role? Like, ಏನ್ designation ಇತ್ತು?
So I was into sales. Inside sales executive was my first designation.
And what was your salary ಅವಾಗ?
Way back, honestly speaking, ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಒಂದು 3,000-4,000 ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು.
This
ನನಗೆ
was which year you're talking about?
2013.
Okay,
2013 ಐ ಥಾಟ್ ಒಂದು 4,000-4,000 ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ನನಗೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಟ್ಟೆ, ಒಂಚೂರು ಕ್ರೀಮು, ಪೌಡ್ರು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ
ನಿಂಗೆ
ಸಾಕು.
ಅವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಹಂಗೆ ಇದ್ದ ನೀನು? ಬರೀ ಕ್ರೀಮು ಪೌಡರ್, ಊಟಕ್ಕೂ ಬೇಡ ನಿಂಗೆ.
ಅದೇ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂಚೂರು ಏನಾದ್ರು
ಕ್ರೀಮ್ ಪೌಡರ್
Seriously. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪಾನಿಪುರಿ ತಿನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ₹5 ₹10 ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು 3-4 ಸಾವಿರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ಅಂತ ಆ ಒಂದು ಫೋಕಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದು. ಒಂದು 3-4 ಸಾವಿರ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ಅಂತ. But I think my first salary was 13,000.
Wow, nice.
Same
So you
as,
both had same salary.
Same
beginning.
salary.
Okay,
So
nice.
ಅವರು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಮ್ಮಾಗಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು ಅವಾಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಯರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್, ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂತಾನೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು 3,000 ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಓ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೇಳ್ತದಾಳೆ ಇವಳು ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತಾರೇನೋ.
We've all been there. Same thing
Yes,
has happened with me when I went for my first film audition. Back then, I think 2008, if I'm not sure. ಅವಾಗ ತಾನೇ 10th ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ₹100 ₹200 ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಮನಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮನೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗಿಂತ. ಸೊ ಮೂವಿ ಆಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ. ನಾನು 5,000 ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಬಡೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಥರ ಯೋಚನೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಪೇಡ್ 25,000 ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಐ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೇ, ಓ ಮೈ ಗಾಡ್, ಇಷ್ಟು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಡ್ಯೂರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರುತ್ತಾ? ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಮೈ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಥಾಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ we've all been there, I think. So sales executive in the start agid journey, ivattu you're handling a lot of big roles in your company.
Yeah.
So what is that transition? I'll come back to you, but what is your current role?
Currently, I work for the senior leaders. When I say senior leaders, I work for MD's office. So from basic ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಇಲ್ದಿರ ಈವನ್ ಲೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ ಅನ್ ಆನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ರೋಲಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಯಾವುದೋ ಕಂಪ್ನೀಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ನರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಈಗ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ದಟ್ ಟಾಪ್ ಕಂಪನಿ, ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಟಾಪ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಡ್ರೀಮ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಟಾಪ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ as well. So I get to work with all the senior leaders, all the managing directors, executive directors, CEOs, CFOs. So it's been quite a journey, but I'm really proud of myself from where I started to where I am right now. And adantra I just feel onthara ಗತ್ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ.
Absolutely. It's guts, it's courage, and it's also destiny, alva, right?
Yes.
So from 13,000, what's your financial growth?
I would say more than 1 lakh.
Okay, more than 1 lakh.
Yeah.
Fantastic, amazing. All three of them are in that scale.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to know other things about corporate as well, which I'll come back to you. So I have my student here. ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಮೋನಿಕಾಗೆ ರಿಮೈಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾಳೆ ನೀನು ಇದೇ ಥರ ಮೇಘನ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಹರ್ ಆಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಮೇಘಾ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಮೀ ಆಸ್ ಮೈ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಮೈ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಅಬೌಟ್ 3 years, but we've had a great journey today. So she is handling a lot of roles for our non-profit organization today, and she also leads a lot of things in our organization, which she supports as pro bono partner, and I'm really happy to have her here. Let me talk to Megha. Hi Megha.
Hello.
So introduce yourself to me.
Yeah, hi everyone. Nan Megha. So I'm associated with Spoorthi for like 4+ years almost now. So yeah, I'm her mentee, very first batch of hers, I believe.
Yes.
So from there, being a platinum coach or something, and then now a friend, like it's more like a family. The journey is short.
She's there with me almost every day on an everyday conversation.
The journey is short, but the bond with all of these girls are also, it's like amazing. So to talk about my corporate journey, I started as an associate in 2015 with 12,800 to 700.
It's starting package ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ.
ಹಂಗಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್
Depends.
ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅವಾಗ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ.
So all of you have similarly started in the same
ಪ್ರಾಬಬ್ಲಿ
So, ಅವಾಗ
2012
freshers
13 ಎಲ್ಲ
I started 2015.
And ಇವಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಫ್ರೆಶರ್ಸ್ಗೆ
ಈಗ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ 25
30
or
25,
minimum
30.
is 25.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which-
So 10 years back it was just a 10,000 growth in 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
So
That's not very convincing.
decent amount.
That's
13,000 is a
decent.
decent amount
Yeah.
because
Back then it was decent.
ನಾನು
Maybe
ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ
I have a different perception towards looking at the inflation and things like that. Maybe we'll definitely talk about it.
Yes.
Yes, Megha, go ahead.
Yeah, so started with 12,700 or 12,800 per month package as an associate. From there, it's been like 8 years of journey. Now I support one of the senior vice president of a very big company, handle a lot of couple of projects and other things. The journey has been very nice. I've jumped into multiple roles, explored different opportunities in corporate, been into accounts, finance, operation, and now I'm finally into management.
Fantastic. Amazing. So, what I saw very similar to each one of you is, ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಪ್ರಕಾರ you have a degree, right? What is your educational background?
I've done my MCom along with diploma in management.
But you started with your degree,
Yeah, BCom.
graduation. Yeah, ಅಂದ್ರೆ BCom.
BCom.
Okay, and you have done BBA. And
I
then you have
started
done
with
your
my
masters
graduation,
now.
Yes.
Okay, and Monica started with no degree, but now you're studying, ala?
I've completed. I've done BCom. I've done diploma in interior designing,
Okay.
and I've done a couple of.
That's
other,
along with your corporate you were doing.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Amazing. So now straight getting into it, what is the context and why I want to do this thing is, first, there are so many, students, lakhs of students pass out every single year with lot of dreams. To be honest, ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಓದೋದೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ. And I think we have not gone into that evolution where people, parents also say that ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಓದು ನೀನು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಓದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಗತ್ತೆ is still the baseline that a lot of our parents say. And keeping that as a core context, a lot of them study well and put in hard work in order to get a job. And today the job antandre placements antandre it's directly related to corporate.
Yeah.
So it's like majority of them aspire to get there. So I think instead of talking to top level management where they have a very different perspective, I thought you guys have started from scratch and you know where you could have done better and your words can be more inspiring. And of course there is a huge controversial ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ huge concept that's running around today because of the recent episode that happened with corporate, and I also want to discuss on that lines with you guys. So straight getting into this, honestly ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ whatever financial growth that you guys have seen in the 10 years, sitting on the other side and looking at it a perspective, I do not see a very huge hike for the period of this thing. Of course, I've seen you guys growing exponentially as a person. Andre, like your personality has become so good and now the understanding of life is very good. Maturity is so high and your standard of living has increased so much. Beyond all that, you are having a very secured life, which is something which which makes me feel very good about corporate career. Again, it's the most, even in fact COVID allo kuda the most secured people were the corporate where others were like panicking, getting stressed, but you guys had that security. Why I want to ask this question is, do you think that you guys are satisfied with the financial growth that you have seen?
ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲಿ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಎಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಾನು ಹೀಗಿರೋ ಕಂಪನಿ ಬಂದ ನನ್ನ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕಂಪನಿ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬಂದ ನಾನೊಂದು ಮಾರ್ಗೇಜ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆದಾಗ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ದೇರ್ ಆನ್ ಅ ಇಯರ್ಲಿ ಹೈಕ್, ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅ ಪೀನಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಆ ಕಂಪನಿಯಿಂದ ನಾನು ಈ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆದಾಗ ಮೇ ಬಿ ನೀನು ಹೇಳಿದ ಥರ ಡೆಸ್ಟಿನಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಐ ಡಿನ್ ವೆಂಟ್ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಒಬ್ಬರು ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಕೊಡು. ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಓಕೆ, ನೈಟ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಟಯರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಮೀ ಟ್ರೈ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಡೇ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಜಾಬ್. And I don't know, out of luck, ನಿಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, Friday they called me telling you're hired, Mondays you're joining. And the first thing I did is I called her and my other two friends and we're like, ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಕ್ತು, we'll go for party ba. That was the first thing I did. But personally, ಬೇರೆ ಕಂಪನೀಸಿಗೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದರೆ, the one that I am there, financially it's been a very good growth, honestly, from where I started to where I am now. Probably I'm not willing to quote the exact numbers, but I am more than what I've quoted. ಸೊ ಅದೊಂಥರ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ನಿನ್ನ ಮುಂದಿನ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಮೈಸೆಲ್ಫ್ this as a stepping stone to kind of like make some savings, be self-reliant. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನನಗೆ ಆ ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಬರ್ ಇದೆ, ಈಗ ಬರೀ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ನಾಳೆ ನನ್ನ ಕೆಲಸ ಬಿಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋವಾಗ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ಸೊ ಹಂಗೆ ನೋಡೋಕೋದ್ರೆ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲಿ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈಡ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ವರ್ಕ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. I personally feel I'm good on the financial
Fantastic.
side.
Financial terms ಒಂದಾದ್ರೆ Monica, to what you have had your own share of personal life, and then there was a switch, and there's a huge transition that you saw. In fact, ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಅಂಕಲ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂಕಲ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಒಬ್ರನ್ನ ಹಿಂದೆ ಒಬ್ರನ್ನ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಕೂರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ನೆವರ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಯು ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್. You have been a very, very protected girl child, alva. So, of course, ನೀನು ಅವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ you were bold and things like that. It's not that you were, ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಹೋಮ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ನಾವು ಬೋಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಷ್ಟಿದ್ವಿ. But what is that personality enhancement that you have seen through corporate?
I think the moment you get into corporate world, it makes you independent.
How do you say that?
The moment you get into it, it's like independent ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕಾ ಬೇಡ್ವಾ, it will definitely make you, because there are times where you have to make decisions and nobody is there to help you. Okay. Nobody is there to back you up. You have been put in a situation where do or die. You do this, you win. If you don't do this, you're not even on the scale. So there are situations where
You're put into a spotlight and challenging situations.
Of course.
Okay.
Because I think your role calls for it. No matter what role it is, you are an analyst, you are an associate, you are an MD, it doesn't matter. But there are times where there are certain things that only you can do and nobody else can help you. Like ಕೈ ಎತ್ತು ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಾ ಮಾಡು ಇಲ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
Okay.
So yeah, you have to make that decision. I think ನನಗೆ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದನೂ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೂ ನಂದು ಝೀರೋ ಆವಾಗ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ. ಬಟ್ ಇವಾಗ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮೈ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈವನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ವೆದರ್ ಓಕೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್, ಲೈಕ್ ನಾಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಒನ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ. ಐಮ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಓಕೆ ಸರ್ ಇದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ವಾ, ಓಕೆ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಎ, ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಬಿ, ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಸಿ, ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಡಿ. ಫೈನಲಿ ಇದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು, ಅದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು, ಇದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ನಾನು ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಇದಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ over a period of time ಇವಾಗ I have my options open. ಇದಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು. So it kind of makes you very, very independent.
So you're saying it makes you a lot, it makes you confident, it increases your decision making skills,
self-sufficiency,
self-efficiency
also.
Okay, so as a person you grow in corporate.
Yes, very much.
So Megha, if I have to ask you, what are the challenges in corporate world? Like as a beginner and as a person now, at this phase, and because I can't ask you for the top level right now, but let's take it as a beginner. What are the challenges in corporate world?
Yeah, so firstly, as a beginner, for me it was very challenging to adapt to the atmosphere or the corporate environment, because I come from a typical Mandya family where a woman is not allowed to step out into corporate. So my family wanted me to become a teacher, get into that aspect. So when I went to corporate, there was nobody to tell me what kind of a dress you're supposed to wear. I still remember my colleagues back then used to call me, "Huchi tara bartya, yaak hing dress haakon bartya."
So what were you wearing avaga?
I had hardly 2-3 pairs of dress. Like my mom used to get me only 2 dresses a year.
Really?
One was
this was in 2013.
15.
Oh my God.
2015.
That's surprising a lot to know about Megha, that she has had seen this phase of life. Because personally about her, I don't know much back then.
Yeah.
About you guys, I've been in this space, I know. Yeah. Go ahead.
So with that, I used to wear the same black jeans for all 4 days, or just 2-3 chudidars which I used to repeat. So people used to ask me like, "Yak neen hosa batte tagolala?" Because of the financial constraint, and also I wasn't supposed to wear jeans. I was not allowed to wear any kind of a short top in my family. So to get adjusted itself, I took 1 year. By then,
what were the emotional impact that you had with all of this?
A lot. I used to cry going back home because it hurts you when one of your cabmates calls you in certain term. Avaru adan tamashege heludruno, back then you're like, okay, ನಾನು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಟ್ಟೆಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ what will my mom tell? Is it like, is it going to match the budget of that month? And surprisingly, I was the only one earning of that phase in my friends gang also. So I used to had to like spend some amount with them also for partying and other stuff, which my family doesn't know.
Okay, this is highlight ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಆಂಟಿಗೆ ತೋರಿಸೋಣ ಇದನ್ನ. Yeah.
So on that phase, it was emotionally very challenging. I used to cry.
It was majorly with your colleagues?
Not really. I had very good colleagues, very supportive team, but just that certain words,
certain thing. No, it could not be intentional, but ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ತಮಾಷೆ ಮಾಡೋ ತರ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ it used to impact you.
I don't know if I can even put it out in cameras, like my, like, I don't mind telling it, like,
yeah, please
I used to wear very loose inners because I was not able to afford a good quality one. So when the strap drops down, people used to say, like, ಕ್ಯಾಬ್ ಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದಾಗ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹರಿದೋಗಿರೋದು ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ಬಂದಿದ್ಯಾ? ಓಕೆ ಫೈನ್, ಐ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದೇರ್ ಕನ್ಸರ್ನ್ ಇಸ್ ನೀನು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಈ ಥರದ್ದು ಹಾಕೊಂಡಿದ್ಯಾ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದೇರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಮೆಂಟಲಿ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮೀ ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ದಟ್ ಓಕೆ ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಐ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ₹100 ₹200 ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬಡ್ಡಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು
God, I when you say this, like when we all think about where we started, Ella, I think the transition is, don't you guys think that the best thing that we four did is we kept working on ourselves?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
And we kept investing on ourselves.
Yes.
The biggest and the best investment that we all four have done is the self-investment.
Yeah.
Correct.
A lot of times, when I go out or somebody, people may ask me like, what's your portfolio and what kind of assets do you have and all of that. If I think back, honestly, I've not done much in terms of my portfolio, but I'm really, really proud that my biggest investment is on myself.
Yeah.
And there is no time that I remember where I have stopped learning.
Correct.
I wrote my final year MBA exam when I was 7 months pregnant. ಎರಡೇನೋ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಲಾಗ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅದು ಹೋಗಕ್ಕಾಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಶೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬರ್ದಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅದು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಲಾಗ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಲಿಟ್ರಲಿ ನಾನು ಗಾಡಿ ಓಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೈಸ್ ರೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಯೂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. And after that, I immediately took up another course, and then I started doing something. Even now, I have other, leadership degrees. Currently, also, I'm doing my doctorate. Learning curve has been always upwards. And that has been a reason to become who we are today from what we were.
Correct.
True that.
Right?
Very true.
So you were telling about the emotional journey, but professional challenges ಏನತ್ತು?
Professional challenges in terms of my role specifically, I was into finance and accounts. So I was not a great student. I was between 70-80 with a lot of
That's not a great
70-80 great ಅಲ್ಲ.
We were below average.
ಪಾಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ಅಂತ.
7th we were below average. Somewhere I made it up in 8th.
No. 70 to 80 was,
That's below average for you.
Below 70 ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ನಮ್ಮ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್
70 was like, wow.
Good. Yeah, go ahead.
So even from the family perspective, I was not exposed to the outer world, so I don't know how to handle systems, how to handle the Excel and all these stuff.
Oh my god, you saying you don't know how to, you didn't know Excel ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಏನಾದರೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡು ಅಂತ ಅವಳು ಫಸ್ಟು ಇವಳು ಸೆಕೆಂಡು. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸೋ ಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ದೆಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ and all of that, and you are saying you didn't know, which means you have put efforts to learn all of this.
It was a very tough journey. I used to do a morning shift, 6:30, 4 o'clock ಎದ್ದಿ ಹೋಗಿ, I can't,
were waking up at
compromise on my
4:30?
sleep. Yes. I had no other choice. I had
And she was doing night shift
I was
is the
going to
biggest.
sleep at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, so your night shift was, but it was very weird actually. Andre like our timing ಎಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಯಾವತ್ತು, I can't even imagine working in a space where it is not as per the daily routine, like that 9 to 6 or maybe 9. Even I've gone sometimes beyond that, but a night shift on a daily routine ಮಾಡೋದು, I feel like hats off to you guys.
ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಒನ್ ವೇ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್. ನನಗೆ ಹೆಂಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೇ ಟೈಮ್ ಇವರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ತಿರ್ಗಕ್ಕೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇವರಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕ್ಯಾಬ್ ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಶೀಲ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಕಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಮಿ ನಿಯರ್ ಆಫೀಸ್.
Okay, I am the culprit. Anyway, okay, so what were the corporate challenge? You were system ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ.
System ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ, and ಇನ್ನೊಂದು the tools and applications is different from each process, not company. Process difference ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So to adapt to all that itself is very challenging. And when, especially if you're in night shift or early morning shift, you will not have your TLs, managers to go and ask nan yen madli. So you're always on that situation where you do whatever. And I was working for a payment team, payments. So alli hege andre one dot you miss and you end up putting like a lot of loss to the company. So it used to be very challenging on that front.
So what are the challenges today?
Today, in terms of corporate, I don't see huge challenge. I feel the challenge is in terms of now, how do you stabilize and keep growing? Because even that growth in a corporate, no, there is a saturation. I wouldn't say it's always exponential. There is a saturation. So how is that you break and go above is the challenge.
Fantastic. Okay. So I think among all of you three, what I have known is Lakshmi has had the highest promotions. So let's get there. How did you get so many promotions?
Don't eye on me.
Okay, put that evil eye on your... So, how many promotions have you had? So,
4 ಆಗಿದೆ.
4.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ.
Yeah.
And with the form that currently I am now, ನನ್ನ ಕೊಲೀಗ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಐ ಸರ್ಪಾಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್. ಸೊ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಪ್ರೌಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಟ್.
ಫ್ಯಾಂಟಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್. ಅಲ್ಲ ನೀನ್ ಹಂಗೆ ಹುಚ್ಚಿ ತರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ ಬಿಡು, ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ವಿಷಯ. We used to scold her like anything. Okay, I mean I've seen her because ನಾನು ಅವಾಗ ಶೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ sometimes we used to travel together. ನಾನು ಹೈದರಾಬಾದ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ weekends I used to tell ಅದು ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಧು ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾವ್ಯಂಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡಿ ನೀವು ಅಂತ, and they used to fly down to Hyderabad. And ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಆಚೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಂದಾದ್ಮೇಲೂ she used to sometimes log in, work till 2 o'clock and all of that. Like, why? Because I'm someone who didn't understand that whole thing. But yes,
to manage your leaves, you just don't want to go on leave. You can manage if it's a less work.
but Lakshmi, ನನಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನೀನು ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕೆಲಸ or is it how is it?
Maybe ನೀವು ನೋಡೋವಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಅದು ಸೀಸನ್ ಇದ್ದಿರುತ್ತೆ or something new. Not throughout the year. I'm not that busy throughout the year. Okay. There are days I just simply go to
But
office.
tell me, what did you do to get so many promotions?
I didn't do anything. Okay, ಎರಡೇ. ಒಂದೇನಂದ್ರೆ I was under the right group of leadership who kept on grooming me. Okay, it's not like ನಂಗೆ ಇದು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. The first thing is like they ask you questions. So that is something I have learned. ಒಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ start asking questions. That's how you learn something. ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೊಳಲ್ಲ. And second thing is, every time any opportunity came to me, I was that person who was open for anything. I did not stop from there. So ಈಗ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಾನು 3 ಟೀಮ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಎವ್ರಿ ಟೈಮ್ ನಂಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್, ಹೊಸ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಬರೋವಾಗ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನೆವರ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಹೂ ಟೆಲ್ಸ್ ನೋ. ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಡೇ ಐ ವುಡ್ ಹವ್ ಪ್ರಾಬಬ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಥಾಟ್, ಅಪ್ಪ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಪ್ರಮೋಷನ್ ಸಿಕ್ತು, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 1 ಇಯರ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ದೆನ್ ಐ ಗೆಟ್ ಅ ಕಾಲ್, ಹೊಸ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಹೋಗ್ತೀಯಾ, ಯು ಆರ್ ದ ಪೈಲಟ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಓಕೆ, ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಒಂದಿನ. ಬಟ್ ಐ ನೆವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕರೇಜ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ನೋ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಮೇಘಾ ಹೇಳಿ ಥರ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಯಾಚುರೇಷನ್. ವೆನ್ ಯು ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ರೊಟೀನ್ ಆಫ್ ವರ್ಕ್, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಮುಂದೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಜನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಐದರ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪುಷ್ ದೆಮ್, ಐದರ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಮೂವ್ ಔಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗ್ರೋ, ಆರ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಮೂವ್ ಯುವರ್ ವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ and you start growing there. Right. So probably I took the second.
And you were the first one among all of us to go to US.
Yes.
So what was your, I mean like ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ we don't come from that affluent family, ಅಥವಾ ಒಂಥರ ಲೈಕ್ ಅಬ್ರಾಡ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಮನೆಯಿಂದಾನೇ ನಮ್ಗೊಂದಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಿವಿಲೇಜಸ್ ಬಂದಿರೋದು. ನನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ವಿ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಹಂಬಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್. ಸೊ US ಹೋಗೋದೇ ನಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತವರೆಗೂ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಐ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಗಾಟ್ ಮೈ ವೀಸಾ, ಬಟ್ US ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದು ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಗಾಟ್ ದಟ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ, ಇಂಟರ್ನಲಿ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಏನಿತ್ತು?
ಐ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಪ್ರೌಡ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಆಚೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಆಚೆ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವರ್ಷ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲೀಸ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನನಗೂ ಅದಿತ್ತು. ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಟ್ರೈಯಿಂಗ್, ಬಟ್ ಆ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಇದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬಂತು ಅಂದರೆ, ದಿಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇವನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಇಟ್. ಅವ್ರಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಥರ US ಇಂದ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹೋಗ್ತೀಯಾ ಅಂದಾಗ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ನನ್ನ ಮೈಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನನಗೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಡ್ರಾಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು, ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಹೆದರ್ಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ವೀಸಾ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ, ಐ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್. ನಂದು ವೀಸಾ ಆಗೋ ತನಕ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡಿ ನಾನು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಒಂದು ಭಯ, ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅದೇನೋ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬ ಹೇಳ್ಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂಟಲ್ ಯು ಡೂ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಿಟ್ರಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಡ್ಯಾಡಿಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು, ನನ್ನ ವಿಸಾ ಬರೋ ತನಕ ನೀನು ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಯು ಎಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ವಿದಿನ್ 4 of us. ಹಿಂಗೆ ನಾನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಎಮೋಷ್ನಲ್ ಜರ್ನಿ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಜೋಶಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೆ ನಾನು, ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇನ್ನೇನು 1 week I'm trying to push the dates, my team is trying to like prepone the dates, and I'm like final ಆಗಿ ನಾನು ಬರ್ಡೇ ದಿನ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ವಿ ಡಿಸೈಡೆಡ್. ಬಟ್ ಆ ಜರ್ನಿ, ಆ ವೀಕ್ ನೀನಿದ್ದೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏರ್ಪೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಹೌ ಐ ವೆಂಟ್ ಥ್ರೂ. ಬಟ್ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಐ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಸ್, ಒಂದು ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಡೀ ಖಾನದಲ್ಲೇ ಐ ಆಮ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಟು ಗೋ US. I have relatives who are in Singapore and other countries, but no one has touched US. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪಗಂತೂ ಅದೆಷ್ಟು ಖುಷಿ ಇತ್ತು, ಅದೆಷ್ಟು ಕಡೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನನ್ನ ಮಗಳು US ಹೋದ್ರು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಹಿ ಸಾ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ ಇನ್ ಏರ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್, ನಂಗೆ ಇವಳು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅವಳು US ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದೊಂಥರ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಖುಷಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಆ ಜರ್ನಿ ಒಂಥರ ಹೆಂಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ರೋಲರ್ ಕೋಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ನಿನ್ಗೆ. ಐ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 10 days you went there, you're almost like you were like ನಾನು ಬುಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ.
ನಾನು ಇದ್ದೆ, ಅದೇನೋ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಇಮೇಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ, ನಾನು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಖರ್ಚು ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನು ವಾಪಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ.
ಯಾಕೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು? ಲೈಕ್ US ಹೋದಾಗ you felt so proud, we all were very proud of you. You went there, you are a very social person as for what I know. You can't live alone, you can't stay alone. Now things have been little different, but yeah, before going to US I have never seen you staying alone alla. It's always with people. Alli hogi Chicago anta country li you got a very luxurious apartment, you're living in that hub city. We are also proud of you, but you struggled a lot for a month or 2.
Correct, I did.
What was that?
First thing is ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, it was like 24 hours is like too much of journey to do. and ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ನಾನು ಪ್ರತಿ ಸಲ ವಿಂಡೋ ತೆಗೆದು ನೋಡೋವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಓಕೆ ಈಗ ಬ್ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಬದುಕ್ತೀನಾ, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಸಚ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಥಾಟ್ಸ್. ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನೀನು ತೆಗೆದು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಬರೀ ಓಷನ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದರೆ ಡೆಸರ್ಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ದೆನ್ ಐ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್, ಡೆಸರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಬೇಕು.
What are you saying?
Because you're prone to get that negativity. How long will you watch movies? I think ಏನು ತಿನ್ನು ಎದ್ದೋಳು ತಿರ್ಗಾ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡು ಮೂವಿ ನೋಡು, it is the same. And it is like for 22 hours it's like long. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ, ದೂರ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ it is probably that journey which makes you a little bit of negativity. So ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ, I started actually thinking like ಮನೇಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಆದರೆ I can't fly back. And my parents, you know right, ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮ ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ತುಂಬ ಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ನನಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಏನಾದರೂ ಆದರೆ ನಾನು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ವೈ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ದಟ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವಿಟಿ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ US ಹೋದಾಗ ಏನಾಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ, ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ನ್ಯೂ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ, ನಿಂಗೆ ಪಿಕ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ ಬಾ ಅಪ್ಪ ಬಾ, and there it's like ನಿಂಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಟ್ರೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಫಿಗರ್ ಔಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಜರ್ನಿ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಅದೇನಂತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ, there is no one to even help you with your luggage. And like putting all that together, ಹೋಗಿ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹೋದಾಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗಿದ್ದು ಇಷ್ಟು ದೂರ ಬರಬೇಕಿತ್ತ ಅಂತ.
The very first day,
the very first minute I landed.
Oh, okay.
And that's how it is, because ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಸ್ಟೇಟಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟರು ನಾವು ಓಡಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ಲೀವಿಂಗ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್, your family, friend, your everything, and then traveling for a job and you are stuck there for 9 months, I would actually tell everyone who's going on that, it needs a lot of guts to do that. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕರೇಜ್ ಬೇಕು. And I'm very
but
sure
is it easier for someone who studies there and gets that?
It's easier. ಅವ್ರೂ ಸ್ಟಡೀಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 1 month will be like too much of like loneliness. ನಿಂಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. And it was still good because you have your friends to call. But ಆ grey period ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, evening 3 PM.
Yeah, I still remember I was in a different country, you were in a different country, and Sonia was in a different country. We were talking on calls, and in fact different time zones as well. Right, Lakshmi, but again talking about your US journey, that was one of your best phases. So the first 2 months were as difficult, but only as first month.
But then I started like probably ನಂಗೆ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತುಂಬ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯಿತು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಂಗೆ ಇನ್ನು ಐ ವುಡ್ ಸೇ part of my heart is still there.
Yeah. What was different from here to there?
First thing is
lot of freedom
ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಬಿಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಮೋರ್ ಕಾನ್ಷಿಯಸ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಐ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದಾಗ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದಾಗ ನೀನೇನು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್.
Okay, that's so well put, yeah.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದಾಗ ವಿ ಡೂ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಐ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್. ನಿಂಗೆ ಇದೇ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ನೀನು ಬೇರೆ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದಾಗ ನೀನೇನು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ.
You don't want to really explore. I mean, I think I can
risky.
relate to this. When I was in UK, that day I could go to a party. And everybody had hyped about that place. But when I wanted to really go, I was very conscious. And that's the right word. Nijwaglu hogbeka? Is it like okay? Yeah, correct.
ತುಂಬ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಸೇಫ್ ಇದೆಯಾ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ರೊಟೀನ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅನ್ ಅದರ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ, ಸೊ ಐ ನೆವರ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಲೇನ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಮೈ ವರ್ಕ್ ಅವರ್ಸ್. ಐ ಕೀಪ್ ಚೇಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಮೈ ರೊಟೀನ್. ಅದೇ 8 o'clock ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ದಿನ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ 3-4 o'clock ಅದೇ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್.
So fear ಇತ್ತು throughout ಇದು.
ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಅಲೋನ್ ದೇರ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ನಿಂಗೆ ಮೈಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಏನಾದರೂ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಿನಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪಿಗೆ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ದೂರ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಜನ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ನಿನ್ನೊಳಗಡೆ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಪುಟಿಂಗ್ ಒನ್ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ.
Right. But at the end of the day, you are also the one who was saying, I wish I want to extend.
I did. And ಅದು ನಾನು ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. It came my way. I don't know how
But
it
you
worked
still
out.
wanted to be there for some
I
time,
wanted
and
to
you
be
still want to go back.
On a term like 3 to 5 years.
Okay, not
I'm
more
not
than
looking at like settling, but I would say looking at that. One ಏನಂದ್ರೆ,
And I'm sure next year ನೀನು ತುಂಬಾ ಓವರ್ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ ನಿನಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡೋಣ ಅಂತ.
ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಎರಡನೇದು ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದೇನೆಂದ್ರೆ, ಐ ವಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಫ್ರೇಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ಮೀ. ಐ ವಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಫ್ರೇಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಐ ವಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಫ್ರೇಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ. That is one thing I would like to portray it well. Nobody gives a shit about what you wear. Nobody gives a shit about what you do. It's as simple as that. So you're on your own. ಸೊ ನಂಗೆ ಅದೊಂಚೂರು ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯಿತು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ 9 months ಹಂಗೆ ಇದ್ದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಗೇನ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ರೊಟೀನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮಂತ್, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಗುಡ್.
But it's back to home.
It's like back to that idli vada biryani.
Okay. So Monica, how stressful is corporate job?
ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬರೀ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಂತಲೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆನೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ ಲೈಫಲ್ಲೂ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷ್ನಲ್ ಲೈಫಲ್ಲೂ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಹೌ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ದ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್. ಒಂದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಕೈಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಡ್ರಾ ಬೌಂಡ್ರೀಸ್. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೋರ್ ಥ್ರೆಶ್ಹೋಲ್ಡ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ದ ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಟು ನೋ ದಟ್ ಅದು ಥ್ರೆಶ್ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ನನಗೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ, ನಂಬರ್ 1 ಬಿ ವೋಕಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಟಾಕ್ ಟು ಯೋರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ಸ್, talk to anyone who is supportive of you at workplace. See how you can get things better. I think number 1, it's very, very important to talk about it and bring it on the table and say why you're not able to handle. Number 1, ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಷ್ಟು ತಿಂಗಳಿಂದ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಡನ್ನಾಗಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ, which is probably causing another additional work or another additional project that you have taken up. I think any company for that matter, unless and until you take it in, ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಫೈನಲಿ ನಾನು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬದಲು, ಆ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಥಿಂಗ್ಸು ನಿನ್ನ ಟೇಬಲ್ಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗಲೇ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಟು ಸಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅನಲೈಸ್. ಈಗ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ವರ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಡಿಷ್ನಲ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತಾ ಅಂತ. ಅಗೇನ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ your lifestyle and your family as well.
That's where my question comes in, Monica. So for example, you were saying, ಇವಾಗ ನೀ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೆ that ಇಷ್ಟು ದಿವಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋದು ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಅಡಿಷ್ನಲ್ ವರ್ಕ್ನ ನೀವು ಅಡಿಷ್ನಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ನ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರ. ದಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಅಡಿಷ್ನಲ್ ಟೈಮ್, ಎಫರ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಕುಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಬಿ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಸಡನ್ಲಿ ನಿಂಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಕುಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಬಿ ಯುವರ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಲೈಫ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಹೆವಿಯರ್.
Correct.
So in that case, do you have to blame or do you have to rectify? How do you really manage that situation? Say for example, you're doing some process, I mean ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಅಷ್ಟೇನು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡೌನ್ಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಕೆಲಸನೂ ಇನ್ನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಅನ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆದರೆ, ವೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಲೈನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೀವರ್ಕ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೀಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ದೇರ್?
Yeah, I think it's very important. I think ಇವವಾಗಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ it has become very important that people go through counseling sessions, mentoring sessions. I think this is very, very important. ಮುಂಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲ we were not talking about it so much, but I think you have place where there are career mentors. There are even ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿನಲ್ಲೂ ಈಗ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ MNCs ಅಲ್ಲಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಈಗ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಕಂಪನೀಸಲ್ಲೂ there is a space where they call it a safe space where they do have mentors and counselors who will help you out to handle stress, to handle probably ನಿಂಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ತೊಗೊಳಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗದೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಸಡನ್ ಹೇವಾಯ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ an ideal company will actually look for employee ಏನಂತಾರೆ ವೆಲ್ಫೇರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಟು. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸತಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, like there is additional work, but then company they don't want to spend a lot of money hiring another candidate, but ಏನಂದ್ರೆ you are capable of handling something more than what you're doing right now. and ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ನಮಗೂ ಫುಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇವಾಗ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಮೇ ಬಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ ಪ್ರಮೋಷನ್ ಸಿಗ್ಬೋದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ವೈ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಐ ಟ್ರೈ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅಂತ. ಅದು ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ನಾವೇ ನಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ಶೋ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಾಂಟಿಂಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಆರ್ ವಿಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಕೈಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಇಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್. ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಇಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ your manager, you want to impress everyone, you want to like make sure that you know nin colleagues ginta you are like high above everything, you are able to multitask and do things like really well. but ello one kade aa ondu ಏನಂತಾರೆ, it is some kind of a high. ಲೈಕ್ ಅದು ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಹೈ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಮೋರ್, ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಮೋರ್, ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಸೇ ದಟ್ ಓ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗುಡ್ ಅಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಬಟ್ ಅಂಟಿಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅನ್ಲೆಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ನೀನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸೋ ಮಚ್ like work driven and you want to be successful at workplace, but then at the same time you are like not concentrating on your family, but end of the day something
so holistic life mele impact agutte.
Very very important that adanne ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು. I think drawing boundary is very important. End of the day I think whatever work you are in, whatever company you are in, how much ever you're withdrawing, you may withdraw like 10 ಕೋಟಿ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಮನೇಲಿ ನೆಮ್ಮದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ what's the point?
Absolutely, makes
and
sense.
10 ಕೋಟಿ ನೀನು ದುಡಿದ್ರೂ ನಿನ್ನ ಹೆಲ್ತೇ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ what's the point? Somewhere I think that is where we need to pay attention on what is more important in life, whether it is
self-realization of what you really need is very very important.
Sometimes ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, we don't have to take that extra project, we don't have to do that. ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಮೋಷನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅರ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೇಜಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರಿಯರಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನನಗೆ ಪ್ರಮೋಷನ್ ಬೇಕು, ನಾನು ಇದಾಗಬೇಕು, ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಆ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಈ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಬಟ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಮೇಘಾ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಸ್ಯಾಚುರೇಷನ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ರಿಯಲೈಸ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ದ ಮೆಚುರಿಟಿ ಕಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇನ್.
Right. And that's where you have to rework on things. Right. So, Lakshmi, you're in a manager level right now. And there's so many freshers that you handle, you train, and in fact, all three of you. This question comes to you when, you know, for example, how is that a fresher or a beginner in a corporate firm can recognize that she's overworking or giving more than what she's required? Or ಆ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ನ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಶಿ ಫೀಲ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಶಿ ಈಸ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಪರ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್, ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಅವ್ರು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ವೆನ್ ದೇ ನೋ ದಟ್ ದ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡೌನ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅವ್ರು ಎಮೋಷ್ನಲಿ ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದಾಗ, what is your suggestion to them? How is that they have to reach out to the right person, and how supportive as a manager you guys would be to them?
ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ Monica ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ you have to be vocal. First thing, you come up and directly talk to us. If you don't want to talk to me, talk to your buddy ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ.
ಸೊ ಬಡ್ಡಿ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲ?
ಶೇರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಾಬಬ್ಲಿ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಟು ಅ ಲೀಡರ್ಶಿಪ್. So you can talk to your buddy and she's going to give you some insights on how to bring this on table. If not, your buddy can get it on the table and then we all can get it sorted out. That's how it is. But ಈಗ currently ನಾನು ಏನು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ that like 10 years back how we were hesitant to go and tell our managers that ನನಗೆ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ನನಗೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. That is not the case now. Now the current freshers are vocal enough to come and tell ನಂಗೆ ಇದು ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, this is too much for me, ನಂಗೆ ಇದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. And one more thing I've observed is you can see the expressions, the very lively facial expressions like oof, gif and all in the floor. That's how you actually silently you kind of like watch people.
So recent I saw a meme, okay, where the content creator had created a meme on a Gen Z candidate attending an interview, and the HRS senior, of course, she asked us common questions, but the Gen Z's attitude towards answering it is not as similar to how 90s kids were answering to
Exactly.
a interview question. They're much more bold, they are vocal about what they want, and they're receptive about what they can't receive.
Correct.
Right? So adaptability ಏನಾದರೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತಾ ಇದರಿಂದ, ಅಥವಾ is it a good, bad, or as a manager what do you see it as?
ಒಂದೇನಂದ್ರೆ ಅಡ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ ವೈಸ್ ಅವರು ಒಂಚೂರು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಪಿಚಿನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಡಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸಲಿ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆ ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಬರ್ ಇದ್ರು ದೇ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಇಟ್. ನೋ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂಚೂರು ಹೆಸಿಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ವಿ, ಈಗ ಅವ್ರು ಹಂಗಿಲ್ವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಅಡ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಬಿಲಿಟಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಲೀಡರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಟೀಮ್, ದ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಟೀಮ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್
But again, it's like Lakshmi, like for example, to where my parents were working to how we work, it's very different. My mom stayed in a single organization, government organization, for 36 damn years.
Correct.
Right? One organization she joined as a second division assistant, and she retired as an officer. And the hike that she got in 36 years was not even very close to what you guys are speaking. It's almost as much as yours. I mean, like a little higher than yours. 160, 170 probably. They may retire at that. But what you guys have seen and to what Gen Zs are seeing, I think there's a huge difference. I mean, the way they perceive, and then maybe when Sanvi grows up and when she goes out to the world to work, it's going to completely different. I think we also have to, it is not that, you know, they only have to come our way. It's not that we have to go their way. It's like we have to come in between, you know, midway barbeku. They also have to understand that it requires a little bit of strength and courage, and also becoming receptive to what they have to receive, and also get adapted. And we also say, okay, now that we are 90s, we got to understand that we are a little old. We got to go there halfway to them and see what is the best way to figure out anta, right?
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅದು ಹಂಗೆ ಆಗೋದು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಎತ್ತಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಐ ಕಾಂಟ್ ಟೆಲ್ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೀನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟಲ್ಲಿ. ನಿನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ದೆನ್ ಯು ಫೀಲ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓವರ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಲೋಡ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಮೋನಿಕಾ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಬಬ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ she is having in a plate, kind of like share a little bit of hers to someone else. Or kind of like if she is, first thing with my current firm, what we understand is if somebody is having a personal issue, they're very vocal to come enough and tell, I need a leave of 1 month, I need a leave of 2 months, I want to sort out some things, I'll get back.
Is that an option?
It is.
Yeah, there is something called sabbatical that you can take.
Okay, I didn't know.
You can actually recover
So
from
it's an
whatever
unpaid leave, is it?
It's a paid.
It's a paid leave.
So you can take sabbatical for 2 months unpaid.
You can take for 6 months also.
And how much do you get paid for it?
Your salary. It's just like maternity leave.
Yeah.
And what is the reasoning and justification?
Because the company doesn't want to let go their very important resource. So they are okay you going on a leave and coming back.
Okay.
So something like top talents. So you know that this person is like a very, very important resource for me. I don't want to let go, but let me give all the kind of benefits.
But there is a
that
layer of
company.
approvals that has to happen.
definitely.
Approvals are there and you have a timeline also. I think if I'm not wrong, it should be someone who's about 3 years of experience in the firm.
Okay.
That's how it works. Approval, I would again say it's about how your rapport is with your leadership and how good they are in understanding from your
ನಮ್ಗೆ
aspect.
ತುಂಬಾ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ, ಹಂಗೆ ನಿನ್ ಜೂನಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀಯಾ?
In return ಅವ್ರು ತೋರಿಸಿರ್ತಾರೆ.
Actually ನಾವು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ತಗೊಂತೀವಿ.
Okay, my question is, you have been a team leader, you've been below that as well, and now you're a manager. So ಇವಾಗ ಅಂದ್ರೆ like if I ask you now, how open are you to give your time to discuss with a junior subordinate to understand what's going on in their life, and how open are you to help them in that phase?
ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಒನ್ ಡೇ ಒಂದಿನದಿಂದ ಅವ್ರ ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಅಪ್ಸೆಟ್ ಇಂದ ಒಂದಿನ ಕೆಲಸ ಇದಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಗೋನ lag for a longer time. So it's important to discuss, talk. And one ಏನಂದ್ರೆ what we do is like personally maybe I kind of like prefer taking them on a coffee break, ask, just get to know their background or like how is their personal life. That kind of like gives you a little bit of idea where how you can behave.
Right.
ಅದೊಂದು. ಎರಡನೇದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಂಡೇಟ್ರಿ ಇನ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ as you have to have by monthly or a quarterly catch up, 1-to-1. It is a must. So you're having some issue, you don't want to talk to me directly, you still have a portal like Monica mentioned where you can go and act as an anonymous and you can put your comments there.
And your identity is
Yes.
hidden.
It's anonymous.
So how do they communicate? What format? Is it like audio or is it like a
you have multiple it is like a
options.
chat
You can
option
write a
ಇರ್ಬೋದು,
Okay.
emails ಇರ್ಬೋದು,
Yeah.
ಆ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
You can
And
also
ನಿನಗೆ
connect
counseling
to...
Okay, you are saying that you are available, or are all top level management teams are available for such discussions?
I
Or
would
is
say I am available because it's very important. That's how it is. And
And I will ask your subordinates about this. I will come to your office and cross check.
ನನಗೆ ಅಂತ ಬರುವಾಗ I think how to put across things. Okay, it is just the same thing. Again, it depends on how you want to get your work done. I want something, I have to be very diplomatic. Okay, I cannot do like hey it ಮಾಡು ಅದ್ ಮಾಡು ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ನಡೆಯೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ತಗೊಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಆಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೂ ತಗೊಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. You have to be very friendly in a very diplomatic way, and you know that better how to get work things
What was that?
And of course,
No,
some of the things
don't start the roasting session for me. So let's get it there. Okay.
it's kind of like ನಿನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಅದನ್ನು ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. It works out. ಈಗ ನನಗೊಂದು ಬೇಕು
ನೀನ್
ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಂತರ ಹೆವಿ ಕೆಲಸ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ಯಾ ನೀನು.
ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಪ್ಲೊಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ
It's neat. Right. Makes sense. I mean, makes sense. So, Megha, coming to you, I know that you have come from a background where, you know, you had very limited resources and you have built your life now, and the transition is very beautiful. And ಈಗ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೊಂಥರ ಒಂದು ಆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ನ್ಯೂ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್, ಐ ಮೀನ್ ದೇರ್ ವರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಕೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಾಲಿಟಿಲಿ. ಸೊ ಐ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ದೆಮ್ ಏನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡ್ರೀಮು ಅಂದರೆ I was expecting a different answer though, but the first thing is I want to get good placement. I'm waiting for a good job. Okay, maybe that's how you're accustomed to and things like that, but that's not something maybe I would be very impressed to hear from you know, maybe I would be more impressed if that person, if the student says that I want to get into this role and I want to get into this kind of thing because future alli nange id ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. The job is not the end goal. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಬ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಅಂತ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್. ಬಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಕಮ್ ವಿತ್ ದಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಒಂದು ಕನಸು ಅನ್ನೋ ಥರ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ somebody who has limited resources comes from a very simple humble family and the other sector is ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗೋದು, ಅವ್ರು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೀವನ ಕಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು and what is that they have to do certain things so that gradually they start improving their lifestyle, their social skills and ಒಂದು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೀವನನ ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ what all the things you'd say
basics.
that
Yeah. So I think when we all started, we never had a concept called as corporate training, where now good thing is the education system has a segment in your 4th, 5th semester which is called as a corporate training. They tell you how do you get into the corporate world. So now it is more accessible, I can say that. But when you speak about these hidden talents, rural talents ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ they are still not exposed so much to that level. So for them, probably first research about the job market. To be more honest, Spoorthi, in this case, when we say analyst, associates, these are just the terms. The job description are much different. So you don't know as an associate what would you be doing. So you'll have to do your research well.
So how is that one person sitting somewhere in the corner of some village can understand ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಇವಾಗ BCom BBM ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೊಂದು ಆಸೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಗಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಜಾಬ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕೆಲ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಆ ಒಂದು ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ವರ್ಕ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಅವರು ಹೆಂಗ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಜಾಬ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಸಿಗೋದು ಹೇಗೆ?
clarity ivaga we have everything available on Google. Okay, in last 5-6 years after especially ChatGPT coming in, corporate industry has drastically changed. Now like you were saying, hierarchy of manager, team level, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ ಅಷ್ಟು ನಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ಸಲ್ಲ. ಮೊದಲೆಲ್ಲ ಇವ್ರು ಟೀಮ್ ಲೀಡರಾ ಅನ್ಸೋದು, ಇವಾಗ ಶಿ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಟೀಮ್ ಲೀಡರ್, ಶಿ ಇಸ್ ಗ್ರೋನ್ ದೇರ್. Because now it's all about open desk policy. You don't have to wait for your manager to put up a concern. Correct. You can go to talk to the president, GM. So that's more approachable way. So now there are a lot of options called as websites, there Glassdoors, Naukri, LinkedIn, where you research about a company. For example, I'm from an accounts background. So there are a lot of good firms which are into tax, which are into finance. So you research about that particular industry. Look for the feedback. All the employee feedbacks, they are anonymous, but they are genuine. So look at the company rating. If that matches your aspiration, then you can go ahead with that company.
Fantastic. I want to ask you this question because out of all four of us, I personally feel you're financially clever. Financially clever is a good term for her. Okay, though Lakshmi has a very different approach towards it, which I'll come to it, but I have seen you transitioning very well in your financial understanding of late, and I think you can be a right person to tell people on how they can map their finances very beginning phase, so that gradually they can do well. Because for two reasons, that one, though as much as corporate job is safe and secure, like you feel like I'm super secured at the end of the day, yen agli bidli 30th nang sambala barutte. As much as it is secured, it is corporate employees who feel so safe are the ones who get into the trap of EMIs.
Absolutely.
Their income is equivalent to their expenses. Most of the places, even if they have earnings of 1 lakh, even if they have earnings of 1.5, or it could be as a beginner having a salary of 30,000-40,000, 80% of it is going to an EMI, where it is spent on what do you say, lifestyle.
Correct. Yeah.
It's not a place where they're spending on something which is going to appreciate. It is a depreciative value they're going to spend on. Like for example, either they buy a car or they buy which is basic necessity. I have nothing to say about it, but how is that they can manage it better?
So how is that depends on your family. So in my case, my entire 12 and a half I used to give it for my mom. For the first 3-4 years, I used to only take 500 rupees for my entire month. ಆ 500 rupees I used to do a lot of gold.
ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ ಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ನಾನು 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ತಿಂಗಳು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು, ಈ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗದೆ. That would be their reaction.
ಒಂದಿನದಲ್ಲೇ ಖಾಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಅಂತ.
I mean, of course, that's a reality today. Yeah, so go ahead.
But back then, that's how things work. Now we spend thousands on lipstick. I used to take 10 rupees lip liner and use it as a lipstick. So,
yeah, we've all done that.
Yeah. So in that case, how is that you can manage your finances? Understand your family status first. Know if there is the requirement of a huge chunk that has to go to the family. If not, try to keep at least 50% as a savings. Now there are a lot of savings. If you're matured enough, if you're brilliant enough, put it in stocks, SIP, mutual funds. LIC is also one of the good options. So start saving at least 50% of your
and very beginning ಅಲ್ಲಿ 50%. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ರು ಊರಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೊಂದು 25,000 ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ 15,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ 10,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು. ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಇವನ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಅ PG, you need 8,000 to 10,000 rupees. Then the lifestyle is 5,000 rupees. They're left with 10,000 rupees bandwidth. ಆ 10,000 ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಟು ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಸೇವ್ 2-3,000 in an SIP or something in the very beginning, which actually acts as a big corpus over time.
Correct. Howdu. That will eventually grow, and now we have a lot of other options also, because I think the difference between 90s and Gen Z is very less, but the evolution is huge.
Yeah, but I think initial stages ali you'll never know like how much to spend, how much to. In fact, nande
that is very important, because I have done a huge mistake on that, Monica, because I mean, to be very honest, I'll listen to you, but let me not forget it. My income, I don't mind telling it in front of cameras, at 18, you all know that I used to earn 15,000 rupees per day. When I was doing a Telugu serial where I was living in Hyderabad for 20 days in a month, at 18 my salary was somewhere close to 3 lakh rupees. At the end of the month I used to get that pay. But now if I think back to it,
What
Where is it? I mean, if I had invested 50% of it, my corpus would have grown massively today. It would have been a huge portfolio just by that money. Forget about what is there today. But with just that, what I earned from 16, if I had put small amount, as small as 5,000 rupees, today it's 15 years, and the whole portfolio would have looked beautiful today. Right?
I'm sure, yeah.
So it's ಅಲ್ಲಿ bandwidth ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ there is no way that you can't say that you can't save 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees. You can do an SIP as low as 2,000, 3,000 rupees.
500 is the start.
Yeah, 500 rupees also. Even that is still okay, but do it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
yeah, you were
true.
saying something.
No, that's what. Starting ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಯರ್ ಇನ್ ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಜೋಶ್ ಓಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ವೆನ್ ಐ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ 13,000 ಬಟ್ ಓವರ್ ಅ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಮ್ವೇರ್ ವೆನ್ ಮೈ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ವಾಸ್ 25,000 I would spend 18,000 on the house rent. I'm like, do I need? It was a 2 BHK. It was a massive, huge house. I mean, why do I need so much? Like, ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು 25,000, 18,000 ಬರೀ ರೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡಿತೀಯಾ, ಅದನ್ನ ತಿನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಾ, ರೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 75% ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದು ತಿನ್ನೋದು ಆಮೇಲೆ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ವಾಪಸ್. ಈಗ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಅ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಸೇವ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್, ಬಟ್ ಯು ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಿಂಗೆ ಅದು ಡೈಲಿ ಯೂಟಿಲೈಸೇ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಆಗೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ.
And also corporate has a norm that you can't have multiple sources of income.
Yeah. So ನಿಂಗೆ ತಿನ್ನಕ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಆ ತರ ಆಗೋಗ್ಬಿಡಿತ್ತು ಒಂದ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಟ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆನ್
I think I really have to appreciate her and how she has completely built her house. I mean, you have a very beautiful house. 13K in the start ಮಾಡಿ, she has a house, she has a car, she has a good lifestyle, she dresses better than any of us, which I think she spends the more chunk on that. She has the best perfumes.
Ask me about it. I went to Dubai, but I shopped for her.
Yeah, so I think that transition you have had very well. So I'll come to that, but before that, let's have tea. And
Yeah,
then we'll continue. So this journey of yours in 10 years, how you have grown financially, what are your tips to freshers, and how is that one can manage their financial journey well while being in corporate?
First thing is, you cannot have expenses and then investment. It has to be vice versa. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬಂದಿರೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ನಿಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಈಗ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಕಮಿಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ನೀನು ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬಿಡು. ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಚೀಟಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿ, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಚೀಟಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿ, ಆರ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದಟ್ ರೆಕರಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ SIP.
Like they say, it's not income minus expenses is equal to savings. It's income minus savings is equal to expenses.
That's what exactly I follow. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನಾನು ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ ಏನ್ ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಮೇಜರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್. ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ನೀವು ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋವಾಗ ಅದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ದೇರ್ ಕುಡ್ ಬಿ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸಿನಾರಿಯೋ ಸಿಚುಯೇಷನ್ ನಿಂಗೆ ಬಂದು ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ನಿನಗೇನೋ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಏನಕ್ಕೋ ಇಟ್ಟಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಬಿ ಪುಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಅ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್, ಯು ಕಾನ್ ಟೆಲ್ ನೋ. ಸೊ ಐ ವುಡ್ ಸೇ ನಿನ್ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ನ, ನಿಮ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ಸ್ನ until it goes
undercover,
live,
a little bit secret
keep
tara
it
maintain
undercover.
Right, fantastic. You remember in beginning of this conversation I was saying that the growth, financial growth that you have seen is not as much as I expect, or you see in terms of inflation. But why I say that is, I have a friend in my MBA college. Okay, I don't want to take his name, he's going to kill me.
I think I know him.
How can you not know him? So the financial growth that he has seen, because we all have started together, we all have same age, but avunu start ಮಾಡಿದ MBA ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡೇನೆ, and now his income is around 3 lakhs per month ತರ. So that's almost 36 lakhs annual package. So what do you think he did differently? Of course he changed 3 to 4 jobs. Is that a point of consideration, or is that something you should consider, or what?
That is one point of consideration, but ನನಗನ್ಸ್ದಂಗೆ maybe he chose to change the job maybe at the right time is what I feel, because the company that he got into later, again I don't want to bring the name, it was a startup. So and I think they boomed really well.
Yeah.
So of course that was like kind of like maybe he chose that at the right time is what I feel. So that doesn't work. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಕಂಪನಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಅವ್ರೀಗ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನು ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗಿರಲ್ಲ. ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಬೋತ್ ದ ಸಿನಾರಿಯೋಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ option, or I would say choice. It's their decision. If they want to take the risk and go ahead and you get clicked there. The second thing is, just because you took a
So it's
decision,
again, does luck matter in corporate?
It does matter everywhere.
It does matter everywhere, actually.
So am I the only one who says it's not luck, it's pure hard work and your
It's
intent?
both. It's
Hard
combination
work,
of
I would
both.
say it is 80%, but 20% of your luck.
More than luck, what I feel is be positive.
Yeah.
The more you attract negativity, the more you're gonna see a lot of downfall. Or in mind ಎಂತ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿಕ್ಕದೇನೋ ಒಂದು ಅಡ್ಡ ಬಿದ್ದರೆ you will be like, you should be in a place to, it's okay, ಅದು ಬಿತ್ತು, it's okay, that's not harming my whole day. But if you're becoming too much negative, then you actually start thinking, okay, ಇದು ತಡೆಯಾಗಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತು, so I shouldn't do the next thing. It's actually your own mind, how you want to
Makes
perceive
sense.
things, how you want to look at it, that's how you attract it.
Perfect.
I think most of the time ಹೆಂಗಾಗ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸತಿ some people where they take, oh, ಇದು ಮಧ್ಯ ಅಡಚಣೆ ಆಗಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತು, so maybe I should stop here. But the other way of thinking is, ಇದು ಅಡ್ಡ ಬಂತು because it is actually pushing me to do better. I think I should just ಇದನ್ನು push ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ.
Overly positive.
No, I think majorly I have been positive, and I think that is what is like kind of leading me towards what I am right now as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I want to add to what Lakshmi was saying. So I also changed a couple of companies, but that growth I did not see because
Usually it's like 5% if you, 5 to 10% is something what you see if you stay in the same company. But when you change the company, it's 30%. Is it
minimum,
is it
25%.
universal like this or what?
30% they say market rate hange, but need not be 30% also, sometimes 10-15% also.
and there are companies
But
who
again,
give you 50-100 also.
100% also.
Yes,
But my question is like, what is a good time frame that you have to stay in a company? Because the retention rate is very low these days. People are changing companies very quickly, and at least we have served companies like, I think you have done 6 years plus 6 years or 3 years plus 9 years.
3 plus 9.
3 plus 9. And you have been in the companies for how long? Like,
mine is like minimum 2 years and 2-3 years at least. I think that is the decent.
so you have not changed any
amount of-
company like by 6 months, 1 year and all of
no.
that? None of you?
That
No,
shows
it
how
affects your growth.
unstable you are in terms
Yes.
of your thinking.
It affects your growth.
But
See,
is it
no
happening a lot now? The retention rate
Yeah,
is very
a lot.
low.
A lot.
Yes.
And what do you think is the reason?
Personally, I feel off late the word multitasking is being overrated.
Right.
While we were working, again, the thing that I'm trying to prove here or tell here is, Navgadu, when we started Allah, we were more dedicated in terms of what is given to us and what we wanted. Now there are so many options. By the time people decide what they want to do, they would have surpassed 6-7 months. And they would hit the saturation level at the beginning itself. And they switch.
Okay.
And the same, like you
Yeah.
mentioned, maybe the student that told you that I need to have a good placement, probably we all were at that stage when we passed out from college.
Yeah.
It will take them some time to realize what they really want. And
So
what's
they have
their
to
real
be
goal.
open to it and keep
They have
the
to just
receiving
jump
end
into
open.
that and
Absolutely.
then see if is that my cup of tea? Can I take it? Or no, this is not mine, so let me go ahead with the other thing.
So me being in the training space, of late there are certain trainers who are claiming that corporate is a 9 to 6 trap, and you're going against your wish, you're doing something what you don't like, and it's not your passion, whatever it is. But I'm someone who is totally against it, though I train a lot of people, I train a lot of youngsters, women and things like that. I'm not someone who would say corporate is a 9 to 6 trap, because I have had a lot of friends like you who say that corporate is amazing and you feel very secured, sometimes more secured than what I feel about my career. And Corona proved that you guys were really, really, secured. And also in a terms that maybe I have not seen you guys not having work-life balance.
Okay.
Maybe it's my frame of people whom I have been in touch with. I don't see any of you for that case being like overly stressed about that, except for a few instances. Andre like I'm not seen you guys even complaining much. So ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ಯೋರ್ ಥಾಟ್? ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಬಟ್ ಇದು ತುಂಬ ಜನ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ಅವೇ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ 9 to 6 ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಪ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ಯಾಷನ್, ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್, ಹಂಗೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ. ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆಯಿಂದ ಸಂಜೆ ತನಕ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಕುತ್ಕೋಬೇಕು.
ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆಯಿಂದ ಸಂಜೆ ತನಕ ಯಾರು ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ, ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. It's very relaxing when you go to office than when you work from home.
I'm going to come to work from home. I'm going to roast you guys on this. Be ready for it. So yeah, tell me, so what do you think of that?
I think, again, of late, the corporate slavery is the term that has been overused. But I don't think that's actually true. It's very secured. It's very safe space where month end 30th, no matter what, you get certain amount. Whether you're on leave, whether you're running your business, it's not the same case with business. You have a lot of responsibilities. I'm not defaming business here, but I'm just
honestly,
telling,
Megha, corporate is a 9 to 6. Business is a 24/7, which a lot of people are not saying.
Understand.
Because, when I see trainers proclaiming that corporate is not a good space to be in, it's very stressful and all of that. Business is equally stressful. It requires more multitasking. It requires a lot of detailed attention. And that requires a very different level of caliber by itself. And anybody, this is my personal suggestion to all of you. If you're thinking of quitting a corporate job and switching from a 9 to 6 job, don't get carried away by anybody who says corporate is a trap and 9 to 6 is a trap. Please be prepared with your 6 months of emergency funds. That plays a very, very important role. You never know what EMIs you have to pay. You may be a bread earner for your family. You may be someone who is managing everything. Just becoming carried away by someone saying that, okay, leave this job, focus on something and things like that. Don't get into that trap. That is actually a trap. So please don't get into that trap unless you have a secured funds of at least 6 months to run the show. So ನಿಮ್ ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೊಂದು 25,000 ಅಥವಾ 30,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಖರ್ಚಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಮೇ ಬಿ for some of you it might be 60,000-70,000 or maybe even more some of you. So ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ into 6 6 ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ಅದಾಗೋ ತನಕ please don't take risk. Don't get carried away. It's my request. And work on how, instead of like getting switched, I mean, there's no offense. Like, honestly, it's amazing to pursue your passion, but be a calculative risk taker.
Correct. Yeah. People talk about risk, but people don't talk about calculative risk. They motivate you in a bubble, asking you to just, jump up in the air, and they don't tell you like how hard you're going to fall. Yeah, they would not even tell you how hard is it going to be. As a business owner, you are responsible for everything that happens in your company. As a corporate employee, you're responsible for your performance alone. You don't have that external burden.
Correct. Yeah. Right. And you're speaking about work from home. So are you guys ready to get roasted?
Let's do it.
Okay. So, let's say it this way, okay? There's no friend who's a non-corporate friend who's not seen their friend keeping something on their laptops to just stay online. Okay? Let's be candid about it, okay? So just stay online, or maybe keep it. Maybe asking somebody to be... I know. Maybe asking your friend to like just keep moving. I don't know what is it about moving and how they track it and all, but I have done it. Okay, not for these girls, so don't take it that way. But we have done it. I mean, we have just tried to keep them online. Maybe even it could be like 20 minutes they're going out for lunch or something. Onchuru nodko online irbeku. How effective is work from home post-COVID, and is it really good, bad? What is your thought?
I personally feel it's kind of like, this is my perspective, it's actually messed up our work-life balance, to be honest. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಮುಂಚೆ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಇರಲಿ, ಸೀಸನ್ ಇರಲಿ, 9 ಗಂಟೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಚ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಮನೇಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಡಿನ್ನರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಲಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಾ. ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಕೇಮ್, ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಿಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಕೇಮ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ರಿಯಲೈಸಿಂಗ್, you're always in front of your laptop. But the only thing is you're more flexible with your family. ಕರ್ದಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೀನು ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನಿನ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಹಂಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ
ಕರ್ದಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಊಟ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಮನೆ ಊಟ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದಕ್ಕೆ lot of people even have put on lot of weight. That's also one big
and you get a very good nap after lunch time.
ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? Take a point my honor.
ಅದೆಲ್ಲ I think again it also depends on the profile to profile also, right? I mean,
okay, if I ask you, Monica, work from home or work from office?
If you have to talk about productivity, I would always prefer work from office, because you get to just not work, but then, you know, like socialize with people. Even that little bit of, you know,
but what would be your preference? Like work from home, work from office?
Work from office is always better that way.
Work from home,
Same.
work from office.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಬಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಲಿಟ್ರಲಿ ಕೇಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೆಡ್, ಮೇಡಮ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಎದ್ದು ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ. That was the kind of like we were so addicted.
Work from home, work from office.
Hybrid model.
I so knew this coming from you. But I think you guys pretty manage it well. Yeah, you were saying something, Monica.
Yeah, I mean, it is also about socializing ಅಲ್ಲ. 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಎದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಕಲೀಗ್ ಜೊತೆ ಕಾಫಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೋಗಿ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಮಾತಾಡಿ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರೋದು. ಐ ರಿಯಲಿ ಲವ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್. ಮುಂಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿದಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಬಡೆ, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಯು ನೋ, ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜಸಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಬಡೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೋವರ್ಟ್ ಥರ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ನನ್ನ ಪಾಡು, ನನ್ನ ಕೆಲಸ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಷ್ಟು ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಕೋವಿಡ್, ಒಂಥರ ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್, ಯು ನೀಡ್ ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಟಚ್, ಯು ನೀಡ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ನೋ, you need someone to talk to, and then yavaglu kelsa is there, but then you know,
so there are 3 votes for work from office, which is quite surprising. Right? But I mean, work from, especially like if it is a situation like Megha, she's a very productive worker like all of you are. Laggere to Whitefield, even in my vague dreams I can't even think of traveling. Okay? It's not easy in Bangalore traffic and all of that. In that way, yes, if traffic was kept aside, then I think everybody would choose work from office, right?
That is where I was coming to. In fact, like I really, as a person, I really love to go to office and work. But then situation hengide andre, example ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ನಾನಿರೋ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ನಾನು ಆಫೀಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಆಲ್ 5 days I have to go. 5 ದಿನಾನು one way it is about 2.5 hours, whereas like ಹೋಗಿ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ದಿಂದಲ್ಲ 5 hours you're just spending just in the you know, company cab or travel, basically commute ge. I mean, imagine that 5 hours in a day just getting wasted because of the commute and all of that. But I think aa tara nodak hodre, I think hybrid model I think is like really really good. But again, completely work from home is something that we don't, at least I don't prefer, because ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, like Lakshmi mentioned, there is a set time. Ee time ಒಂದು 8 ಗಂಟೆ 9 ಗಂಟೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ you'll finish and you wind up everything and you're done for the day. But whereas when you're working from home, especially when you have US stakeholders and all, you just sit and it goes on and on and on. It goes on till 2-3 in the morning also. You will never know, because end of the day you want to finish your work.
Sometimes it also gets toxic, right?
It gets too toxic, and sometimes it's also taken for like ontara granted. Oh, you're at home only, no, why not?
So have you had, what kind of toxicity can be created in corporate space?
Basically,
if you can give me 2-3.
Taken for granted ontara, like especially when you're working from home, you're like there are 2 ways to see it. One, though, there are people who would just say work from home, ade laptop space bar mele eno ond ikbittu online torsadu, because you don't have that much to do. But whereas some people, where you actually have a lot of things to do, but you don't have a way to draw a boundary or just put an end or put a stop for that particular day, because you keep going on and on and on. The only thing, at least if you're a workaholic, at least for me, I think I've struggled a little more on this, because I'm like very much task oriented and I don't like to keep the task for the next day. Pending idak ishta illa. So it's okay. I mean, if I have to like log in for the Indian time, IST, I will be logged in. And then whereas sometimes if I have to like coordinate with the US stakeholders, earlier what I would do, if I was in office, I would like probably drop them an email and then wait for the next day for them to get back, because it's US. But here, no, I'm like, okay, wait for another 2-3 hours only, no, let me wait and then like coordinate with them, talk to them, and that talking goes to like from one task, it jumps to another task, and then there is, by the end of the day, when you realize, you're like, you've not only like finished
I heard
one.
you telling me a lot of times that I've worked till 2 o'clock, I've worked till 3 o'clock. Was it by choice or was it by force?
Like, I wouldn't say it was by force, but again, because I'm like a task oriented person, I don't like to keep things pending for the next day. I try to extend myself, but somewhere I think ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸತಿ extend ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, but initially it will be like, oh, she's extending, oh ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಹೆಂಗಾಗೋಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ there will be a time where that will become an expectation after a point,
And you'll be taken
because
for granted.
you are taken for granted, and then, oh, she's already
So
done
isn't
this.
it good that you draw your own boundaries
It
in a
is.
very initial phase? That's what
It
you were
is.
telling.
Yeah.
So what can get toxic in corporate? Like 2-3 major points, like without explanation, if you have to say.
Are they want to take them for granted? The second thing is, don't expect favorism. It doesn't work in all the corporate world.
Yeah.
But there are so many memes that says that.
It is just the memes.
Okay.
So
So
that's
people,
what
if
I'm
you're very
telling.
close and if you're like in good terms with your top level management, your
No.
possibility and your chances of getting higher
No.
promotions are. It's not true.
It's not true. There's a lot of things into consideration. Okay, your communication. How good are you at managing
And your social
your
skills.
tasks? Your social skills plays a major role, because as and when you pass a certain level, you are required only to talk, network, and communicate. And that how it helps. That's a way of you pulling in the business.
And who are these people who are doing memes like this? They are corporate or non-corporate?
Maybe who hates the corporate job, who left, who just couldn't. Maybe I would say who someone never liked that because their interest would have been something else.
Yeah.
So we have all this perception. No? So if you ask me why you haven't started anything, for me, it is, I have to do a calculative risk. I don't have a background. I don't have lakhs to invest. So my corporate comes as a stepping stone for me to plan that. This is where I can start. This is my journey to do anything that I've dreamt about.
Yeah.
But not everyone thinks it that way. So it has been tough for us because we never had that, right? We all started from scratch with nothing. All that has come till now is just my education, my job. So I'm glad about that. But one thing I have thought about portfolio and all recently a lot, that's where these things people have to draw, distinguish. So you have to tell either this is my goal, so to go here, let me choose this way or let me choose this way. That's your choice.
So what are the major complaints that HR these days receive from freshers?
From freshers, stress. I can't work late night. And
But why are they asked to work late night?
okay, so
If they are committed in an offer letter to work from so and so.
no, there's no commitment in nowadays in the corporate offer letter. Not now. 9 years back, I still have my offer letter. It's very clearly written there. During seasons, you are expected to extend and work. They are very clearly quoting it. So we would have got the job. We would have been in the Josh. We never read it.
So read your offer letter.
Offer letter.
It's like you just ignore it like the insurance terms and policy. But you should actually read it.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Because there is a verbiage. You never know. It can be a very tricky verbiage. Read it again and again. You know how smart the person would have written it.
But I think how many
Someone
of
like
us have read the offer letters, right? I mean, we've changed companies, but even now,
Yeah.
I've had only one offer letter from Travel Mart as a chief marketing officer.
All we go is to
And I
that
think I
finance
read the entire thing, and
I read it.
I'm not supposed to work in any travel space again and all of that.
Similar in that.
Which I was very much aware, and I'm probably by wish also. Maybe I would not go and be a part of any travel space because I am into it. But if I have to ask you guys, like for example, ಅಂದರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಇವಾಗ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಟು ಡ್ರಾ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ?
I think ನನಗೆ it has always worked well. Okay, touch ಯಾರು ಕಣ್ಣಾಕ್ಬೇಡಿ. It's really worked in that way. No, why am I saying it is until today I've not come across a person where I felt toxic in corporate.
That's good.
And I myself as a person, I draw my lines very well. Till today I've had good corporate friends, but I know what kind of friends they are and what to level of extent I can go with them. So that line has helped me grow personally as a person in corporate as well. So I think that is very important. And my productivity, work from home, work from office, has
It's not
never made a
difference.
difference for me. Even while I was doing work from home, of course I've stretched, I've logged out at 2-3 whenever it is necessary, but not on a very regular term.
But a lot of companies have declared a lifetime work from home.
Yes.
Would you choose that, any of you? Like a company which has declared a lifetime work from
No.
home?
I wouldn't, because I think growth-wise, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ
You would
stagnant
definitely for
ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ.
sure, because for the kind of facilities you guys have there, every day you get that 5-star feeling, and you have one of the world's best office. I don't know, I've not seen your offices. Anybody can take this question, that thing that happened in your career that you felt ನನ್ನ ಕೈಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, and still from there you bounced back. ಅಂತ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು?
I quit my first company because somebody really triggered my ego, and it's not, I'm not egoistic, but when it comes to work, I give my best. But you challenge me back, I do good. But you can't expect me to be like all the time being favorable to you, be nice to you. That's not my job. I'm getting paid for something that I'm doing, not being good to you. So my previous company, there was a lot of favorism, all these things which I did not like, and I cannot be so good to you. I know my characterism. So when it really took hard, when I realized I'm not taking it anymore, I just told him I'm quitting.
Few years back, when I have seen you, there was this, I mean, not too before, like you were even hospitalized for a certain space where that particular month or two, where you were in a phase where you got admitted, and the doctors said it's because of stress, and you were also calling us saying that illa nan kaila agtilla, things are getting very toxic, I'm being overused with work, people are taking me for granted and all of that. And I've seen that lowest phase of your corporate career there. So what were your emotions that time, and what really happened?
Yeah, like I said, I think this is something that I've realized of late is end of the day, I know, like, I'm a person, if you give me something, you don't even have to expect 100%, because I'm going to give you 200% for what you have asked me. I mean, even more than what you ask. So, I mean, if I take up something, not only in corporate life, in anything for that matter, like if I put my heart and soul, that is when I say, okay, I will take it up. But until then, I will not even commit to that. But the moment I commit, you cannot even expect 100%, you can expect even more than that. So that's the way I am. When I give you more. But that, like we were just having a talk, right? I mean, sometimes it will be taken for granted. Because you've been doing things in a nice way, people kind of start to like lift you and put you to a place where you feel like, oh, you're the kings and the queens of the entire place and all of that. But until and unless where at one point you say, no, listen, I think this is too much, I'm not able to like take it anymore. And that is when things start, taking a fall and stuff like that. But what happens is, like, in a sentence, if I have to say, people don't leave companies, but people leave their bosses, managers, and the people around them. So only when things get toxic. How does things get toxic? It's because people take you for granted and they expect you more than what you've already been giving.
What are you supposed to do
exactly,
at that point of
I mean,
time?
to be very honest, initially when you join a company, you give them so much that they're like, oh my God, this is not what I expected. Like, we get this. Oh, this is like more than what. But what happens for the second year? Now you've already set that bar really, really high.
You can't go anything
now
less.
You can't go anything less. Now you can't even be like, you are not expected to do what you're supposed to do, because you've already given something more than what you're supposed to do. But next year, you're putting yourself in trouble, because next year, what you're expected to do versus what you've already given, the expectation becomes like 2 times more. So now you do something different from what you have done last year. That is only
it's
when...
like, even in the phase that you're entering, you need to know and set boundaries.
Right.
And give what you're supposed to give, and
what is expected. And then, I mean, if it is... See, sometimes what happens, people, or in fact, even your managers at times, I think throughout my career life, that is what has happened. Every role that I have taken, like, I started as an inside sales executive, right? I mean, it was completely a sales role, and then I got into a marketing role, and then I got into business development, and then I was a key account manager, and then later on, I've moved roles, I've moved, like, I was into I'm currently into finance and stuff like that. So every organization, you have your managers. I think they've been like super good to me. They've been like very good mentors where they've helped me upskill myself as well. So those are the things that you need to actually, build. I think the building relationship also matters a lot.
Absolutely.
But at the
No doubt
same
about it.
time, when they actually point out that you are actually doing good and why don't you do this, talk to them. Talk to them and ask, okay, I will do this, definitely. What is my next career growth?
Absolutely, very well said,
We
Monica.
have that. You set your goals. You set your goals.
Ala, Andre,
you have
what I was
discussion.
trying to ask you is, do you have any such incident which vaguely you remember that you couldn't handle it and you have made certain decisions?
I think
Or has
I've
it been
gone
smooth?
and asked for a resource. I've gone and asked, telling, I need more. I need someone to help me. I want to transition. And like Monica mentioned, it's the same. You have already set a caliber there. Next year, you cannot stay there. You either surpass that, but you can never go below that. But in order to do that, I have to be very clear on, if I need to take this additional thing, I'm already having this much. A portion has to be now moved to someone else.
Right.
That's how it works. So that communication has to go from me also, and it has to be from the opposite end also.
Right.
I think somewhere, even when you're doing this, I think manager plays a very, very important role when you know that a person is a top talent, especially. Like, I know, like, the one who reports to me is like super good. But I know I'm giving a lot of work. Sometimes I think this is there throughout everywhere, right? Kelsa yaar chanag ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೇನೆ ಹೇರೋದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೆಲಸ. Oh, the other person is not even doing anything. Why don't you give that person? Because they don't do it well, you see. I mean, how right is it to keep hoarding things or hoarding work on the same person who does things well and versus someone who doesn't even
Maybe
do anything?
mentoring and
but
guidance in that case,
it
bringing
really
team
helps.
together.
I think, like I
And
said,
maybe that person can even guide the other person who's not able to live up to their potential.
like the
And
buddy
maybe
program
the
also
group,
kind of helps.
work can be.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಏನು ನನಗೆ ನಾನು ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ನನ್ನ ಕರಿಯರಲ್ಲಿ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಟೆಲ್ ಮೈ ಜೂನಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂ ಹೈಯರ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಆನ್ ದೆಮ್, please read your job description very carefully. First year or the second year, you're only expected to meet the job description first.
Correct.
When first year only like, oh, ನಾನು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲೇನೋ ಇವೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಈ ಟೀಮ್ ಲೀಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಆ ಟೀಮ್ ಲೀಡ್. When you take up too many things for the second year, of course you will not have anything.
Makes sense.
That is also true.
So your job description, that's where everything in corporate bounces back to drawing lines.
Right. I know this conversation is going to get serious for the next few minutes, but recently the letter that a mother wrote to a company head made a huge sensation in the country. And losing a daughter of that age, being a mother, I can't even imagine. I mean, you have so much. I mean, I can't even express what that mother should be going through, at least for such a reason where the doctor has certified it's because of stress. Right? And now we don't know whom to blame. Like, I think the investigations are going on. So we are nobody to make judgments of who exactly is the person, or is it the organization we have to blame? Is it the person we have to blame? Whom do we have to blame? We have no idea. So let's not get there. But with all this sensation that is going around now, that advan sensation admele, there are so many news that is coming up. Even bank alli there is another person who was sitting on a chair and sudden ag biddu he passed away anta. Adadmele recent ag innond yavado news bantu, similar case where again ontara sikkabade stress agbittu there is a death anta.
Some 40-year-old.
But genuinely what I feel, this has been there throughout always, but the death played a very huge role. And I think there is a lot of change that is coming in terms of corporate policies because of this. Is it true?
I would say policies are always in place. It's the people who are not getting it, implemented. Policies modlindanu ide. Even when we joined 8-9 years back, in our companies we had a space called as mental health, where people were allowed to speak. And like they said, we have garden leaves, we have sabbatical leaves. It's all about you going and being vocal about it. But of course, after this incident, the implementation has become aggressive because even the companies are now scared of losing their talents, and also they don't want to be known for the wrong things. So that is there.
Yeah, that
what
is
what
also
policies
one
are
thing.
coming in, Lakshmi?
We already have policies, okay? One new thing which I am seeing now is maybe people are not ready to reveal their name to talk about it. They're afraid of many indirect things. So probably now, I think most of the companies are looking for a platform to go as anonymous.
Yeah.
So based on that, the corporates are trying to build in lot of new policies, wellness related. So my company always had this wellness events. We had free counseling sessions. It's just all there. It is our willingness to go and choose a slot you want to do, you don't want to do.
Okay.
And but in this case, I feel I wouldn't blame anyone. It is something that when I know, it is my priorities.
Correct.
Yeah.
For me, what is the purpose of me even earning so much? Being alive, my health comes first. If my health is taking a toll, I need to really stop, look at myself, take a break. If I need a break, let me take a break and come back. Or I'm always in a good position to go and tell that, no, I can't handle this anymore. Let me get into a different field, or maybe I would say different team, which has less stress. So I would say it is like our evaluation. If let's say you're my manager, if you're convincing me, telling it's okay, you can do it more, and I know that I can't take it more, I should be in a place not to be
Be
convinced by
vocal.
you.
Well, I mean, the
I
repeated
can't.
words that
I
I've
know,
heard from you guys is set boundaries, be vocal about what you're experiencing, and express your emotions, try to find the right person, and nothing is working out, take your right decisions.
Yeah. ಬಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪಿಯರ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸತಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಟಪ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. There are, I mean, like we've had very good friends who are like very understanding and all of that. Even if tomorrow ನಾನು ಕೆಲಸ ಬಿಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೂ, ಬಿಡು ಮಚ್ಚ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಸೊ ನಾಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಐ ಆಮ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ವೇರ್ ಒಬ್ರು ಕೆಲಸ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು, ಶೀಸ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಹರ್ ಜಾಬ್, ವಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಶಿ ಡೂ, ಬೇಡ, ಲೆಟ್ us not include her in the group. Maybe we do have,
I think that's one of the thing. So all of us, we have friends. We have lot of friends. There is something called as, you draw a line called best friend who knows everything about you.
Like your inner
ನೀನ್
circle.
ಹೋಗಿ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಆಗ್ದಿರೋದನ್ನ I come and talk to you, I come and talk to Madhu. So that's my space. ಬಟ್ ಈಗಿನ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ನಾನೇನು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್, ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವ್ರ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. You need someone to know completely about you, because tomorrow something goes wrong with you, someone knows about what you have done in the background.
I think there's
Basically,
no
who is
secrets
like
between
non-judgmental.
us. I mean, all of us know everything about each other.
Yeah.
So that kind of space where you don't have someone to go and take out the stress, you're rather like accumulating it so much that one day you're kind of like bursting out. You're not able to tell anyone, you're not able to find a solution, and neither you're not able to correct yourself. That's all is leading
It's very
to this.
important. At least you need to have a family like that, or you need to have a friend circle.
Absolutely.
Like
I mean,
that.
relationship plays a very important role, irrespective of what professional genre you're in. And if I have to ask you guys, like, there are so many policies already.
Correct.
Is there anything that you feel that this policy is not there? Maybe if it comes, it's really good. Or maybe companies should adapt this policy.
ನನಗೆ ನನ್ನ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಜಿಮ್ ಇಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಸೆ.
And they should give you 1 hour space to go work out. And some offices do have it, right?
Yeah, it's like
My
very
previous
few.
company had, even my current company has.
See, the thing is, companies do give. I mean, corporate. I really love corporate life. I really love my company. I love.
Why can't you love?
I love-
How is that you can't love?
Exactly. So companies give so much. They do so much for employee benefits and just to pamper the employees and all of that. But if you ask me, like, my company has so many good things, right? I mean, do I have the time to go and experience everything that my company is giving? I'm like, ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ನಾನು ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ,
ಟೆನ್ನಿಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ನೂಕರ್ ಇದೆ, ಕ್ಯಾಫೆಟೇರಿಯಾ ಇದೆ, ಜಿಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಸ್ವಿಮ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಪೂಲ್ ಇದೆ.
you name it, it is there. But ನಿಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? But what we do sometimes also is like, by the end of the day, 1 hour ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೇಗ ಕೆಲಸ ಮುಗೀತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, that 1 hour you won't utilize by going and exploring the restaurants or exploring the wellness things that you have in the office, right? You're like, 1 hour ಸಿಕ್ತು, ಬೇಗ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡೋಣ.
Okay.
So that is
So
something
Monica's
that
suggestion to corporate board members who prepare policies is that keep a dedicated space and
Space
time
and
for
time.
wellness.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe like frequent meditations and
Yeah.
probably some
no,
sessions,
at least even
events,
in a day,
socializing
like when
events.
someone says like 9 hours is your work time and you have to be in the office for 9 hours, out of 9 hours, 1 hour is your lunch break or whatever break you take.
And all the other breaks, tea breaks like Lakshmi.
Everything. Yeah. So I think there should be something where like ಆ 9 hours ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 hour ಇದಾದ್ರೆ another 1 hour is for your wellness. In that period of time, nobody has anything to question you. You go do whatever you want.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೇಮ್ ಅವ್ಳು ಹೇಳೋದು ನಿಜ. ನಮ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಡೆಡಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಯೋಗ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ 4 to 5. ಮುಂಚೆನೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲೆಂಡರ್ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ನೀನ್ 9 hours ಕೆಲ್ಸದ ಜೊತೆ ಅದ್ ಮಾಡೋನವಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ ದಿನ ಕೆಲ್ಸ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದೊಂದ್ ದಿನ ಏನೋ ಒಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ ಯೋಗ ಬರೋವಾಗ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಗೋ. But
It should be like a
someone like
mandate
Megha,
thing.
that 1 hour is a sleeping time. She'll go and sleep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what.
So rather
Like, I
you
think
dedicate.
I do think
No, officially I explore what
I'm
it
just
is.
telling you.
Alla,
in
otherwise,
preference
yeah.
prakara.
Yeah, my company has that. There is a
Sleep
different.
pods can be a good option.
The
no?
other- I was about to say.
It's
Like a full
there.
20
there.
minutes sleep
Obviously,
pod.
you have.
You have
In every
it.
company
Yeah,
you have.
there is a
Oh,
room
really?
called as
Yes.
wellness room.
Wellness
And even
room.
if I mean, I should consider this.
time
And those
ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
couches are so
I have all the
good.
time in the world.
Those couches are so good. The bean bags and couches.
But who will wake you up, Megha? That's my
You
The
keep
good thing I
alarm.
do is
Your
when you have a
No,
flexi.
no, alarm can't wake her up. So don't
No, I have
even
to.
think of it. Alarm wakes up all of us, but not her. Her own alarm.
Recently, Disha had put up a reel which is on me. Only.
The whole, if everybody is with her sleeping, everybody will wake
Wake
up
up, not
except her. So my confusion is, if someone like her sleeps in a sleep pod, who's there to wake her
I
up?
have two things
So
that
there
I
should
do.
be a set policy that the person who is setting the sleep pod should come and bang your
Bang in an hour.
yeah, you're not supposed to, like that paid sleep pods which I saw, I think in one of the airports, where after 20 minutes they wake you up.
No, what I do is I take my laptop and go there. So I work. So I know next 1 hour, 1.5 hours, I don't have much to do. I take that nap. Illa, I take my colleague and say 15 minutes ನಾನು ಮಲ್ಕೋತೀನಿ, ನಂಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಎಬ್ಬಿಸು, and I'll make sure she wakes me up.
Interesting.
But I think ಅದೇ ಇವಾಗ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರಲಿ whatever leaves you don't take throughout the year, it's mandatory for you to take that 10 days off. It's mandatory. So something of that sort, Ala, it becomes very helpful. Like a mandate 1 hour break. You are supposed to take. It is good for your mental health. It is, you can be more productive that way.
Amazing. So I have few quick questions that I want to finish off with. Okay, these are a bit of rapid fire that I want to ask you guys. Okay, top 3 skills in corporate that you think is a must to have to scale up the ladder.
Communication.
Communication.
Second thing is you have to be a very social person.
Yeah,
If you're introvert, it doesn't work. You can't think
Yeah.
everyone has to come and talk.
fantastic.
You have to go to everyone. Third one, I would say upscale yourself with the technology.
Yeah.
Amazing.
If you're gonna lay behind, you're gonna just left there. One day your company is gonna chase
Technology
you out.
skills, social skills, communication
Communication
skills. Okay.
Yeah, communication is very important, and building relationships, and also I think
You guys think? Okay, my question
Be
is,
a good critic.
be a good critic,
Be
be
a
a good
good
decision
crit-
maker,
yeah.
draw boundaries.
Yeah.
You can say no
Self-analysis.
smilingly, very diplomatic.
learn to say no.
No.
It's very important.
Oh, that's a great skill.
Learn to say no.
Corporates train you on how to say
no.
No.
But nobody learns
Nobody. No, even when people learn it, I mean, people
They're afraid
though
to
they
implement it.
they're afraid to implement because
But I have a very, very critical question here. Like I was giving an example that a student whom I've met, she wanted to get a job.
Okay.
And the skills that you are speaking, is it really taught in our education system?
No.
Communication is being taught at least during your graduation
ನನ್ನ
from
ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಂತೂ ನಾನು ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ.
ಅದು ನಾವು
I have done
ಈಗಲ್ಲ.
BBA, I have done MBA, I'm doing my doctorate.
Yeah.
Even today, when I'm doing my doctorate course, there's no classes for communication. It's about the subject. It's not about your leadership skills. It's not about your communication skills. It's not about your social skills. It's not about your decision-making skills.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's not about your perseverance or anything like
Also,
that.
what you learn,
yeah.
you don't really work what you like.
What you
implement
learn.
what
I have
you
not done, I mean, I've
That's
done
the
my
honest
MBA in HR. I've never taken a job of HR. Though I've done few interviews in my, I mean, I keep doing a lot of interviews. That has helped me, no doubt about it. But I really don't even remember the subjects. But that is not something I would like to influence here, that education does not play an important role, but that has become a foundation for me, no doubt about it. But in what sense? It gives you an accreditation, it gives you confidence, it gives you a lot of, support as an individual. That you are educated by itself gives you a lot of strength and ability. But during those days itself, I would suggest all the students to simultaneously do courses on communication, public speaking, leadership courses.
Ideally, that should be part of the
Exactly, and a lot of
learning
schools
as
are
well.
doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
my niece studies in a college, and there are communication classes, there are leadership classes, there are project-based learning, which is good. But I think it should be universal. It should be there in every college and every school where they are preparing students, right?
But I feel Sanvi talks better English than what I would have spoken in our
she
age.
speaks Korean
Yeah.
also, so we can't expect to speak Korean. So let's all get there.
These days, I think
Yeah.
kids and the way the curriculum is put also, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the schools, ಮುಂಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರೀ ಓದು ಬರೀ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನ
ಈಗ
ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟು
practical ಇದೆ
ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ.
ಬಟ್ now it is
Now
more
it's different.
practical. You go talk to like a 10-year-old and 11-year-old now,
We feel
and
illiterate.
we feel illiterates, and then they're very assertive about what they
That's
want.
what our parents used to feel
Yeah.
about us, no doubt
Same.
about it. When we went to
Yeah.
colleges, schools, and maybe, you ಎಷ್ಟು ಗೊತ್ತು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. And that's how it's going to be, and the graph is going to be the way, and it's not going to change. So quickly, Monica, have you had any crush in the corporate life?
Not at all. Not at all. I keep my corporate life
Are you being
separate and personal life
much
separate.
rigid about this answer? You can say yes candidly. Some guys would be.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, no.
What's the best time you like in corporate?
Best
Never
time
like.
I think.
Good. These both are like good shots, Spoorthi, and not us. Of course, I mean, I was about to put up something else. I don't know. So, what's the most favorite time in your corporate life that you
Time
on
as in you mean the face?
ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಇಷ್ಟ? I mean, like, which is the best time?
Daily routine.
Daily routine ಅಲ್ಲಿ.
ಟೀಗೆ ಹೋಗಕ್ಕೆ.
Coffee break. You know how many business plans have gone on that table? How many samosa shop we would have planned?
Okay, nice. What's your okay, have you had crush in the office?
She didn't ask
No?
me. I'm glad. I would have told you know it.
So what's the best time that you like? Don't tell me coffee breaks, which you don't drink.
I don't.
Sleeping
ನಾವು
time.
ಹೊಸದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಬಲ್ ಟೀ ಕುಡಿತೀನಿ ಅದು.
Boba tea.
I feel literally outdated when I hear all of this. It's a Korean tea, is it?
Yes.
I didn't know
I
this
don't know
until
that.
I was told.
Okay, yeah.
My favorite time is working on huge datas and reports. I love working on Excel.
What is that one thing you hate to do in your office?
I think I like everything. It's just that ಸೀಟ್ಗೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಸ್ಟಕ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಕೈಲಾಗಲ್ಲ.
What is that you hate to do in your office?
When everyone comes to office, I hate it.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that is
Very
all. Yeah,
The traffic is so much at peak on
Yeah.
Wednesdays. I hate the parkings and I don't get my desk. And even though you get desk, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಆಫೀಸಿಗೆ 4 ದಿನ ಹೋಗೋರು ಒಂದಿನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾತಾಡಲ್ಲ. They split it on 4 days.
Correct.
ಒಂದಿನ 2 ದಿನ ಬರೋರು ಅವ್ರ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಬರೋ ದಿನ ಫುಲ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾನೆ.
Yeah, they don't work.
ಇಯರ್ಫೋನ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರು ನಿಂಗೆ ಇಯರ್ಫೋನ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕೇಳಿಸುತ್ತೆ. So I don't like. I hate Wednesdays when everyone is coming to office.
Especially you need that your time you'll be working on something and somebody like chit. I'm like, can you please shut up? I want to
ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ
work.
ಬೇರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ attitude ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ನೀವಿಬ್ರು ಕಮ್ಮಿ
I've literally told ಎಷ್ಟು
ಅದೇ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇನ್ನೋಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಗು ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ನೋಡ. ಯಾರು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ they can ride on her. So easily.
Not really.
At least we do.
ಬಟ್ ಆಫೀಸಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸೋ ಸ್ಕೇರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀ, ದೇ ಸ್ಕೇರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಇವನ್ ಕಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಟು ಮೀ ಅಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಲಿಟ್ರಲಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿನೇ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸತಿ ಶಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಏನು ಮಚ್ಚ ಯಾರು ಬಂದು ಲೈನ್ ಹೊಡಿಯಲ್ವಾ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್. they're like so scared to even talk to me. I'm like, oh, maybe that's the vibe I give Ansate, but I'm very different. Like when it comes to office, I'm very different. I'm very reserved, and I don't let any Tom, Dick and Harry come and talk to me.
I mean, maybe even I am like that in my professional life when it comes to, how I am with you guys is not the way I am with anybody else. So it's good to draw boundaries and, know how much inner, space that you can let anybody. There's one line that you can't let anybody else. So, one suggestion for all the freshers that you have.
Don't think too much, just go for it. If something is not working, try something else. I think that is what I've done throughout my career. It's not that I've stuck to one role or one profile or one industry. I've changed multiple industry and finally I've settled down here. Maybe this is something that excites me for the next few years, and maybe this is something that I don't want to do after few years. Just go with your gut feeling and take risks. I think taking certain risks, which is like a calculative risk, is very, very important, and that's when you actually scale up in life.
Fantastic. One suggestion to all the beginners?
Same thing. First, plan your savings and then your expenses. That plays a crucial role no matter you're a fresher in a corporate or a business. That's your base foundation to start your, I would say, maybe your job journey. Or your profit journey.
So one suggestion.
The level of so many dropouts that people don't want to stay in corporate is because of the influence of the external world.
Correct.
I would say please block that and you do your research. You know where you are going. Even when you step in, if you're not liking certain role, there are a lot of internal opportunities. Research about it and keep a reserve. People are not ready to take a risk and move out and stay in that and get stressed is because they don't have the reserve to stay ahead.
We're talking about the emergency
funds. They're like, you need 3 to 4 months of, time to change any company. Just because you can't push that 3 months, you're suffering for another 3-4 years in the same company, and then you say it is stress, it is mental health. Nothing is more important than your own health and family.
Fantastic.
So,
Spoorthi, one question ಕೇಳಬೇಕು ನಿಂಗೆ. ವೆಲ್, ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಗೊತ್ತು, ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಡೋರು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ. ವುಡ್ ಯು ಎವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಆರ್ ವುಡ್ ಯು ಎವರ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಜಾಯ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್?
Answer is I don't know. It depends. It's situational. I'm not being diplomatic because that's one space that I have not seen. I've done a lot of things. I've stepped into a lot of areas, and I think it's industry specific that I have worked. I've worked in this event space. I've worked in training space. Currently consulting for a hospital brand. I've worked very closely in the travel industry. So it's a domain specific industries that I have worked, and corporate is something I'm very, very curious. And I got to know a lot from you guys today. I learnt a lot. And I think I will get a very good package in corporate if I ever get into or decide because of the kind of skills. I think it's not because of the experience. I don't know about the experience, how much it matters, because I come with an entrepreneurial experience. So what package do you think I will get, Monica?
Crores ನಿಂಗೆ. Crores.
CEO, CFN.
So yeah, that's also because of the skills that I maybe have learned over time.
Along with that, the kind of responsibilities that you've dealt with, based on that, they give you a role.
So maybe if that is one thing, I don't know. I mean, if I will ever be able to consider going and sitting in front of a job, because I've never done it.
But don't you think anybody working under you will get a lot of grey hairs?
These both claim. ನಿನಗೆ ಬಿಳಿ ಕೂದಲು ಬಂದಿರೋದು ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕಂತೆ, ಇವಳಿಗೆ ಬಿಳಿ ಕೂದಲು ಬಂದಿರೋದು ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕಂತೆ.
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
Just being friends with you.
Monica doesn't have a
No, but actually, you know what? The thing is,
she doesn't have a
I would
grey
like
hair.
to actually cut these people down because ನನಗೆ I think she's been like my ಒಂಥರ ಅಲ್ಲ black and white ಅಲ್ಲ. No, I'm saying like ಒಂಥರ my safe space and then my relaxation point. I think that is what she is for me at least.
But see, she's been with me since childhood. Okay, you both proclaim that ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬಿಳಿ ಕೂದಲು ಬಂದಿರೋದು ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ. Day before yesterday, I was like, ಯಾಕೆ ನಿಂಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಬಿಳಿ ಕೂದಲು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ದು ಹಿಂಗ ಆಗೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. I said, ಹೌದಲ್ವಾ, ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿಗೂ ಇದೆ ತರ. Then I asked her, ಮೋನಿಕಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಳು 2 ತಿಂಗಳು ಕಲರ್ ಹಾಕ್ಸ್ತಾಳೆ.
What? I mean, what nonsense is this?
So anyway, I mean, yeah, that's a good perspective. Maybe someday if I consider, my only fear of getting into corporate is maybe I can't, dedicate so much of hours to one particular thing. I've been into multiple space and I like multitasking and
variety.
multi-domain and
Yeah.
variety is a part
And
of
with
my...
corporate, you won't be able to do
a
that.
variety iralla annadu my concern. Maybe, I don't know, I mean... Good that you asked me this question. I have a clarity. But yeah, I mean, that's also there that at any point of a time I have a secured job, because what is your worth anta obru keldaga, it does not define your business abilities. It defines when you go out and seek a job, what someone is ready to pay you is your actual worth.
Correct.
So you know how much you're caliber to earn. So that way, I think it's a good proposition that came in front of me, that there is a value for that skills, right? Thank you. Perfect. And last two questions. Okay. Megha, I have seen you, there are a lot of people who say that you can't multitask and you can't do many things when you're in corporate, like Monica was also telling, but I've seen you doing this very well because you are actively involved in our NGO currently also, where you do it on a pro bono basis and a non-profit basis, where you support me in a lot of endeavors, where that has no way impacted in your current profession. So if somebody wants to pursue their passion and give certain time, like for example, let's say 1 hour, 2 hour, or maybe weekend 4 hours, 5 hours. So what is your suggestion to them?
It's up to your personal ability of how well you can stretch and handle a couple of things. So for me, I've always been good at it, and I know where to say no, where to say yes, and especially what cause are you working for. For me, I really like that cause for working for women who are underprivileged or who are in that gray area. I really like working for them. So that has always kept me motivated. So identify that space which motivates you, and know that non-current work will that allow me to do so much of space time anta. If it is not, are you ready to compromise on your weekends, which I have done for a lot of years? If yes, then you can explore that opportunity. Otherwise, I would suggest do not overstress and get into that own and corporate job. ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಏನೋ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಲ್ಲ. Again, it's an
So I think there is some space that you can still borrow 1 or 2 hours or maybe weekends or something where you can focus and sideline alli you can start working on that, so that in future alli ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತಿದ್ರೆ you have an alternative option.
always.
So Lakshmi, I want to ask you this question. This is the final question, that a lot of corporate employees or people who are into corporate space, when I speak to them, this is one very common thing that I've heard. Corporate is not my long-term game. Over time, I want to switch and want to do something on my own, is something like 90% of the corporate employees say, right? So they say that after a few years, I want to start something on my own, or I want to do something else. Or I've even heard to an extent that nanella bitbidu on farm house alli settle agbeku. That also I've heard. So why is this so common, and why do you think this whole concept of leaving corporate after a certain time is there, and what's the purpose behind it?
I think one of the things that I would say is, like, if I would have had the background to invest, I don't think I would have first of all stepped into corporate. So that becomes like my need. So my corporate is something that currently I would say, like, this is your stepping stone to go where you want to go. Okay, and how you financially calculate that is what is gonna go there. And second thing I'm looking at is maybe the kind of work culture that we are doing. Maybe I feel now I have more energy, the more caliber that I'm able to do all that things. And in this last 10 years, I have seen a major technology improvement. So it's again a question to yourself. Do you think I will have the same caliber, the same energy, and the same attitude to cope up with the technology in the upcoming 20 years? So that is where people are little reluctant, or probably they start planning, okay, ನನಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟಿಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನು ಹೋಗಿ ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್,
which is good.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ 20 years ಮೇಲೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಎನ್ಹಾನ್ಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನನಗೆ ಅವಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಾಪಪ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತಾ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಟು ದೆಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್.
ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಯಾರೋ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ಯೋರ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಹಂಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಹಾನೆಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಐ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಅ ನೈಸ್ ಹೌಸ್, one beautiful house, definitely in my bucket list. And I've always had this vision of having a house with a huge swimming pool and a beautiful villa kind of a house. That's my house vision. I want to have a good car, and then a good lifestyle, maybe 3 holidays in a year, a slow holidays. Like I go there at my own pace. I want to explore 3 holidays in a year. A nice coffee sit out where I can wake up in the morning, have a coffee, and just sit and do nothing. Like not in that rush of going somewhere. And maybe a beautiful life where I don't have to stress for like struggle for my income. This is my ultimate goal. And I want to have that amazing people like you guys, my husband, my daughter, and that's my happy and safe space. This is all I have. ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲ್ ನೀನು ನನಗೆ ಕೋಟಿಗಟ್ಟಲೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು maybe I will not have the ಒಂದು ಡ್ರೈವ್ ಅಥವಾ ಫೈರ್. ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ನಾಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಎಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಅಷ್ಟು ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೇನು ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ ಇವಾಗ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 10 years ಮೇಬಿ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 15 years ನಮ್ಮ ಅಮ್ಮ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ 60 years 70 years I can't even imagine like how capable we would be in terms of the health that we are having today. So maybe 10 years, 45 is our threshold, like where we can push ourselves. So in that space I have another 12 to 15 years to work. That bandwidth is there, whatever best, and I want to create a legacy. That's something there in my back of my mind, and I want to help a lot of people, not for money but for for a cause. Like I've understood that nothing is as special as having skills.
True.
And women getting those skills itself is a very, very, very great thing, because one woman in a house becoming potential is she making her own entire family potential. Right. So my whole vision is that I settle this first, ನನ್ನ ಕಪ್ನ ಫುಲ್ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು, and I want to do as much as possible for the womenhood. And I think each one of them have to get a certain clarity about what is their life after 15 years, and maybe align their life towards achieving that end goal. There is no end to it. I may have to wish to get 5 houses like that. That's not in my bucket list. It's a never ending. So I think that clarity is really important.
Yeah, I would just like to add one thing to what you asked for Lakshmi. So the whole concept of corporate, what we are speaking today, I feel personally it came up because those who couldn't afford to go to government, they wanted an opposite to government, which came up to be a corporate, and now there is a startup culture. So we are mentally preparing people that in corporate hogta idea, this is your lifestyle. In startup godre, they are paying you well, but there's no stability. So it's all about a mental game. What
the consideration of government has become less. Is it true?
No.
It's not become less. It's become very challenging. ಹಂಗಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು 10 ಜಾಬ್ಗೆ 10,000 ಜನ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೀತಾರೆ. It's like ನಿಂಗೆ chances ಕಡಿಮೆ.
So it's still there. The race for the corporate job is still there.
Absolutely.
It is.
I don't know about
it. Is still the same that even today there are cases when you go for matrimony side, government job holds a
okay, when are you guys getting married?
ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಆದ್ರೂ
don't divert.
No. ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಆದ್ರೂ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ನಂಗೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು ಗೈಸ್ ಐ ವೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೋಟ್ ದಟ್ KS and IAS ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್. ಐ ನೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಲಕ್ಷ ಜನ ಬರೀತಾರೆ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ಗೇನು ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾನು ಗೊತ್ತು. ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮ ಲಕ್ಕು ಸಿಕ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್
that
I have written my prelims, IAS prelims.
But the thing is,
but I knew
somewhere ontara khushi agutte at least ಬರ್ದಿದೀವಲ್ಲ.
Monica, you know what? When I wanted to write IAS also, I wrote it twice. I knew I would have cracked it for the third or the fourth time for sure. But I decided, okay, it's amazing to become an IAS officer or an IFS officer. But to see me there, it didn't fit in. You know, to sit in that routine or maybe in that position of doing that kind of a job is not me. Correct. So I was very clear about it, and I didn't give my third attempt.
Yeah, especially for me when I got to know that you move, even for you to step out of India, there are a lot of regulations and approvals. Which itself I'm like, no, I want to travel.
No offense to who is deciding to be a part of it, but that was just not my cup of tea. So if you really want to do that, then fantastic.
And
I mean, it's the most respected thing. Okay, that's amazing. Great. How did you feel being a part of this show?
Amazing. I think this is something that nobody generally talks about.
Yeah.
And another thing is it's more nicer because having a candid conversation with someone who I grew up with, at least now, I think it's an amazing experience. Yeah.
Amazing. So how did you feel?
It's motivating.
Yeah. But
Nice.
at least somewhere we also feel that, okay, I think we have also
doing
done
something.
something.
I think that was the whole conversation all about, right? You know, this accreditations and achievements is always considered on a scale of how many awards you're getting,
correct.
what you have done in life, and the kind of fame that you have, or
Correct.
things like that. But it's not really that. It's so that how have you stepped scale by scale, and how have you gone level by level? And somebody who was on level 0, if you've come to 3, that is an achievement.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it is.
And that
Correct.
has to be acknowledged.
Correct.
And I think great job, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining, and
Thank
may
you for
achieve more.
inviting us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So that's Spoorthi Vishwas show. I'm gonna get back to you with the actual name soon. I had a great time talking to my friends, and I hope you enjoyed too. If you think that this was a good conversation to hear, please subscribe, Madi, and let me know what kind of guests you want me to bring in. I'm definitely going to do that. And for all of you who think that the whole show should have been in Kannada, Kannada tumba chanagi baratte, tumba ಪ್ರೀತಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ಗೌರವಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. But the whole idea was to kind of put it in a general way that ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ reach ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ. Just because it was a mix of language, it doesn't mean that we don't value it. It's just that ಕನ್ನಡ ತುಂಬ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಇದೆ, ಗೌರವ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾತೃಭಾಷೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ವಿ ಕೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್. ಸೊ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿಶ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ ದ ವೆರಿ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್. Take wise decisions, have a great career, have a great personal life, stay happy. That's what matters. Thank you.